She eyes me like a Pisces when I am weak. I've been locked inside your heart-shaped box for weeks. I've been drawn into your magnet trap. I wish I could eat your cancer when you turn black. Hey, wait, I can complain forever and to your priceless advice. Hey, wait, I can complain forever and to your priceless advice. Eating orchids, forgive no one just yet. Cut myself on angel hair and baby's breath. Broken hymen of your highness, I left back. Throw down your umbilical noose so I can climb right back.
Hello, hello, hello. Can y'all hear me? Beautiful people. See here. Gossip, Jaded. It's always a pleasure. How's the fires, Jaded? Megs, New Kids, Mystic Butterfly, Freeside, Chai, Heather. Hey, beautiful. How's the fires, Jaded? Oh, God, the shit with Gypsy Rose, man. Kimmy Kins, allegedly. I like that. How you been? I ain't seen you in forever. Where you been? Moon Angel. Kimmy Kins, I done a live on Kylie the other day and Amber came up with me. Good, you're still safe. Still burning, but at least you're safe, love. I love that version, Gossip. Yeah, I hadn't talked about Kylie in a while and figured I would. And, you know how special that case is to us. Family's always first. Oh, I don't even know where to begin on this fucking Gypsy Rose, man. It's like if you don't cover it every day, let's see here. Just a second here. Got a lot of shit saved here. Yeah, I know Rod was in Alive and all that. We're gonna go over all that. Where is that? Find what I'm looking for here. First, this here is on the channel Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime that we're gonna go over first. I think we've all pocket timed out or something, you know what I mean? We've all done something. Okay, let's see. This one, Gypsy was caught on a live talking about she was on a live with her friend and they thought they ended the live and they didn't, and some shit came out.
Welcome down the rabbit hole, friends. I'm here because There's someone on TikTok called Penosaurus who is exposing that Gypsy Rose was chatting with her best friend on TikTok, Bree, and Bree forgot to turn off her phone, forgot to take it off of live, and basically exposed that Gypsy is trying to come up with, some kind of manipulated story or a lie to tell her parole officer about why she would have contacted or tried to contact Nick Godejohn. To that I say, I follow Nick's secret page. You guys should as well. And Nick wants nothing to do with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. He actually calls her the shrew. He's really hurt by what happened and the fact that Gypsy got out of prison and, really hasn't done anything to support Nick. And now there's a lot of issues with that. We can talk about that later, but let's get into this TikTok.
It will be decided tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
So it appears that Gypsy is saying to Bree, I guess it'll be
Listen
decided
up
tomorrow.
here
In
on
regards
this.
to
Listen if you
talking
haven't
to her
heard this.
parole officer about what allegedly happened with Nick. Now, we don't know if it really happened. Maybe she's talking to Bree and saying, someone alleged this to my parole officer, and now I have to defend myself, okay? We just know that it happened. She has to talk to her parole officer, and here's what Bree is going to say to her regarding all of this.
Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they need, I don't know. I feel like they should have to need, they should have to need proof. They can't just use a text. I feel like not even text message. They should have it, I don't know. Somebody could have got hold of your phone. I don't know, something. Because people can use, there's all kind of crazy phone apps and everything, girl. There's phone apps that can actually send you message that you can, okay. So there's phone apps where you.
See, allegedly, Gypsy has been contacting Nick in prison. And here, this is where they thought they ended the live, and they didn't. And they're talking about what to tell her parole officer because she's not supposed to have no contact with Nick, and she's trying to lie her way out of it.
You can type in, you can type in your number. Say somebody can download this app, type in your phone number, and then send a text to someone, and it'll show that it's coming from your phone, even though it's not.
Wow.
Yes, that's why I feel like there's no way they can send you back to prison on this. I would even bring up that, be like, I absolutely did never. I would be like, I would lie. I would say absolutely didn't, and.
People on TikTok really feel that Bree is essentially coaching Gypsy how she should lie, how she should manipulate, how she should convince her parole officer that there's no way in hell that she did whatever it was that was done. Now, I do find this, again, really interesting because Nick wants nothing to do with Gypsy. And why wouldn't he say something about it on his page if she had contacted him? I guess it's possible, but it just all seems like maybe there's a lot more to this story that we don't know about. I have to be really honest with you. I'm going to let you watch the rest of this video, and then I'm going to have a few things to say about what's going on here.
I feel like there has to be a way that this text message was falsified or whatever. I don't know. I would just fight for your life, girl, because there are ways. Yeah. That's the reason I feel like at the end of the day, they would have to prove it, because there are ways for people to do that. There are actual apps, girl, real apps that will show it's your phone number, even though it's not. Oh shit! Let me. Oh, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God I just started this YouTube live because I'm on the phone with you. I'm just lie.
At the end, you can hear that Bree is receiving all these text messages. You keep hearing ding, ding, ding. It's people texting her and being like, you're still live. And we can hear what you're saying. And then she realizes it and she's like, oh shit. And
hey,
she ends up
good to
turning
see
the
you,
live
love.
off. So a lot of people are, they're talking about it. They're talking schmack. They're like, what was going on here? Is this Bree and Gypsy collaborating on a lie? Have they been caught in it? Is this going to get Gypsy in a lot of trouble? Is she going to have to go back to prison? You guys aren't going to like this, but I'm going to speak from my heart about what's going on here. I actually do have a lot of sympathy for Gypsy with all of this. I don't want her real life opportunity to restart her life to be completely ruined by social media.
Okay, now this I don't agree with, because how can anyone feel bad for her? I can't with people that have sympathy for her and shit.
bullshit. Now, if she's really doing something totally inappropriate and screwing people over, then yes, she should pay the price for it.
Lady, she screwed her fucking husband over.
There should be a consequence, but I'm really concerned because Katie Joy Paulson has come out talking so much shit about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I'm worried for Gypsy, which is hard because I've been really frustrated with Gypsy.
I'm worried about that baby.
But I can tell you from my own personal experience, if you don't know, you should know. Katie Joy Paulson told a massive lie, fabricated a totally untrue story about my nursing license, my personal career, my nursing license, and put it all over Instagram because she didn't like that I was criticizing her. That's the kind of person Katie Joy Paulson is. She lies.
Okay, for one, if you criticize someone, if you even talk about someone on the fucking internet, you got to expect some kind of backlash, regardless. Hey, Ron, come on. You can't sit here and criticize someone and expect them, oh, well, thank you for criticizing me. What the fuck?
I know it because she lied about me. She said I did something that I absolutely never did, and it directly affects my real life. So when I hear her say stuff about Gypsy or other people, I really have to question, is this
Happy birthday,
another
Ron.
sick, sad lie? Because Katie Joy has come out so hard against Gypsy, I've been worried about her. I'm really worried that Katie Joy will do whatever it takes to take Gypsy down. And I want to be really honest with you about what I think may be going on. And this is all in my opinion. This is all just based on what I've seen. I will say that about a week ago, I started telling people that I foresaw that Fancy and Katie Joy Paulson would start teaming up and being friendly, even though they've hated each other for years. And guess what? That started happening.
Okay, I didn't know she was saying all this and this. We're going to stop that because I like Fancy. I don't like Katie Joy, but all right, sorry about that. She's a dumb bitch. I like some of her stuff, but I didn't. What the fuck? Let's see here. There's so much shit I don't know what to go over first. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna let some of these play. This is Flawless Nina. She's my favorite. Her and Fancy. I like her. I don't like people that take up for Gypsy because they're just fucking blind to what's really going on. I mean, I get it, but come on, can you really be that fucking stupid? I feel bad for Katie's kid, man. I've been around Katie for, yeah, she's fucking trash. But this girl was saying, she criticized Katie and Katie came at her. I'm on Katie's side on that, Right, Kimmy Kins. And if you can't see that, oh, I feel sorry for Gypsy. What the fuck? Yes, child.
Got some Gypsy Rose tea that's about to knock your socks right off. But before I tell you, this is all alleged. Now, I have a source that just told me Gypsy Rose and Ken will be engaged very soon to save face. She wants to be sure that Ken is not going to leave her. We already saw that kind of at the end of the Lifetime series, but I really wasn't anticipating an engagement simply because I just didn't feel like Ken wanted to marry her. But it said that it's going to be really soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it was by the end of the week. Now, wait, if you think I just dropped some tea, I got so much more to tell you. Christy Blanchard wants the baby. And Ken has agreed that at first sign of Gypsy using the baby for manipulative or
I
financial
agree,
tactics,
Scout. The
that he'll
baby
leave
is the one I worry
and
about.
apply for sole custody with Christy supporting him. But Christy wants to have sole guardian of the baby and says that Gypsy is unfit to be a mother. She can't even take care of herself. So how could she take care of the baby? And if it came down to it, she'd kick Gypsy
I agree
out
with
and allow
that.
Ken and the baby to stay if it means having control. Christy despises Gypsy so much and has vented to so many family members a lot about her being selfish, immature, lazy, and entitled. Rod is in the middle right now, but Mia is done. Gypsy found out yesterday about the plan for the baby and flipped. Huge argument. And it ended with Gypsy crying, claiming she was having miscarriage pains due to the stress from Christy putting pressure on her to go back to school and get a career while
Of course
she
she
helps the
would.
baby. Helps the
Of
baby.
course she would fake it.
It gets better. Children's Services has already reached out, asking to meet and discuss whether any support is needed, aka they are already keeping tabs on Gypsy. She cannot stand Christy or Mia, especially Mia, because Mia has the sense that it's not a secret that she's jealous of her. A plan is for Christy to tell Parole that Gypsy can't stay there anymore. And so leaving Gypsy having to go back, in which case the baby gets handed straight to the dad or her parents. Ryan is still being strung along and contacted every time Gypsy argues with Ken or Christy. And that's why he's so mad about them talks about Ken needing to get a job, because she's feeding him a victim storyline as usual and keeping him as backup in case she needs to use his address again when it all goes wrong for good. Gypsy hates being told what to do and having to watch Christy be the woman of the house as she needs to be in control. She's desperately trying to present as them getting along and the appearance for the sake of Parole watching her. She's spiraling, and now she found out about Ken and Christy having conversations about the baby's future, and that may not involve her, and she's about to do something drastic. Apparently, she's given Ken an ultimatum to propose to her for the public to see, and to realize that for them not to realize how bad things are,
She's
and
still
to prove
fucking
to her
married. What the
that he
fuck?
is not going to betray her, as otherwise she's threatened to find a way to keep him out of the baby's life. Gypsy is glued to his phone 24/7, crazy obsessed. Even Rod told her it's not healthy, and why be with someone and have a kid with them if you have to watch their every move and don't want him to work out of jealousy. Y'all, this is a source, so I want you guys to make your own decision if you believe this or not. I'm just telling you what is alleged. You know, I am not a fly on the wall in their house, but this is the information I have, and you let me know down below what you think. I have another video. Well, that's it, folks. It looks like Gypsy Rose is going to be heading back to the slammer. Let's listen why.
They need.
Fate will be decided tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully.
This is what we heard a while
Hopefully,
ago.
like I said,
But
hopefully they need. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should have to need. They should have to need proof. Like they can't just use text. I feel like not even text message. They should have been like, I don't know. Somebody could got hold of your phone. Like, I don't know, something. Like, because people can use, there's like all kind of crazy phone apps and everything, girl. There's phone apps that
I don't know. I wonder if she's pregnant.
So there's phone apps where you can type in,
because look, she's fake. She's known for faking pregnancies, because before Dee Dee got red rummed, she told Nick that she was pregnant with a baby girl, and she lost it because of Dee Dee. And in my opinion, that's how she convinced Nick to red rum her mother or whatever's happened, because I believe there's a lot more to it. And like to this day, Nick still grieves that baby that never existed. Poor guy. You know, so yeah, I would.
you can type in like your number. Say somebody can download this app, type in your phone number, and then send a text to someone, and it'll show that it's coming from your phone, even though it's not.
Wow.
Yes, that's why I feel like there's no way they can see the next person on this. Like, I would even bring up that, be like, I absolutely did never. Like, I would be like, I would lie. I would say absolutely didn't, and be like, there has to be a way that this text message is like falsified or whatever. I don't know. I would just fight for your life, girl, because there are ways. That's the reason I feel like at the end of the day, like they would have to prove it, because there are ways for people to do that. There are actual apps, girl, real apps that will show it's your phone number, even though it's not. Oh shit. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, thank God I just started this YouTube live, because I'm like on the phone with you, I'm like, just lie.
So this is actually Christy Blanchard's friend. telling Gypsy Rose to lie to her parole officer. And the last incident that happened with her contacting another inmate, they said that was it. They sent her back to the slammer. So we got to see what they're going to do. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next 48 to 78.
Christy, man, that's a fucking snake in the grass. I think Christy's setting this shit up because I think Gypsy got out and it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And
Gypsy Rose Blanchard did the unthinkable, allegedly, to Ryan Anderson. Sources told me today that Ryan Anderson's lawyer had a signed letter from Gypsy Rose's attorney saying that there was no presence required. So if she did Ryan like that, that's grounds for disbarment in Louisiana. Y'all, allegedly, Ryan Anderson saw the post.
her
that was going
makeup looks
around,
really good there.
and that was what his attorney showed him to calm him down.
Nina's so
At this
beautiful.
point, it's alleged that Gypsy Rose did something unethical, and her attorney knows it. This is all alleged, y'all. But would we think that little Gyp Chip would ever do anything unethical? Y'all, I keep saying, some of y'all
He
keep
is
giving us
terrible,
girl
child.
passes. But what do they
I
say?
love her eyeshadow.
Yep, that's who she is. And I hope that this is the lesson that Ryan really learns. And I hope her attorney gets disbarred if this is true. Because, child, Gyp Gyp ain't worth a DAMN. Okay? So we're seeing right now that she's playing dirty. But she's done that her whole life. I hope Ryan Anderson gets her and turns around and sues her in a way that she has never expected. Because this is the unthinkable. Man, you can't just leave the divorce and leave it. No, but you're going to have signed letters that's unethical by your attorney. You know, I said to myself the other day, I really didn't believe that Ryan Anderson would be negligent and not just show up for something. Just because he doesn't give those vibes.
Too.
Like, I know he cares about Gypsy, but I also know that he's not an intelligent man or someone that is
It's
just
beautiful,
run by emotion.
Kimmy Cans. I love
you know what I'm saying?
it.
Because
She's so
I'm telling you, he
pretty.
was giving him Harlem vibes. Like, he was giving an old head OG from Harlem vibes when he was airing out Ken. Like, he was giving, I'm about that life. Like, pull up on me on 125th. Like, he was giving him vibes. So this makes more sense to me. Drop your thoughts down below because I'm going to do another video about Gypsy.
I love Nina. She's my favorite one to follow on all this shit. Make sure y'all give her a sub, like, follow, and all that because I use a lot of her stuff, but she uses a lot of other people's stuff too. So let's see here. Okay, now this here is actually Fancy. They were suing Fancy.
I knew that I was. Hey guys.
I like Fancy too.
Hey guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And last night on our live, we were going through some of the the crime scene photos. And we came to one that looked almost like a fishing net. And we all were very perplexed by what it was. So let me show you, and we will see what this is. Okay, so here is what we were actually talking about and what we were wondering what in the ever-loving hell this was. So we had a viewer who was watching that live right in, and she said if Dee Dee was dealing with kidney stones, then it was probably a strainer filter for when a stone was passed, so it could be collected and analyzed for composition. Now, that makes sense to me, because Dee Dee was having problems with kidney stones. This was dated 9/30 of 2014. But if you scroll this entire 12 pages, which is only one of the couple
it's like
of
that in most of the
about
states,
Dee Dee,
child. We discussed that on another live about that.
They were treating kidney stones quite a bit. So we've been telling you that
and it's actually in Louisiana, not Missouri.
She was suffering from a lot of things. And Suzette, her best friend over the years, had said that she did not recognize the house that they were living in, the way that the care and the conditions of it, and that Dee Dee was not normally like that. She was actually very obsessive about being clean. And I can understand that. And that would make sense to me along the lines of why other people had keys to her home and never saw anything to be suspicious or crazy. Because if anybody had gone in that house ever, I mean, ever, the whole thing would have fallen apart. People would have been like, what the hell is going on? And I can only imagine that in 2009, when CPS and the police showed up, it did not look like this. So, to me, though, there was a little story in January of 2015 that they were planning on moving to Florida again. And Dee Dee had told them, those people, that allegedly that Gypsy was 12 years old.
Yes, child, they did.
So now we all know that Dr. Beckerman moved from Louisiana to Missouri and Dee Dee followed. And I'm likely to believe that possibly there was some sort of relationship going on there based on some of the things that Gypsy has even said about their relationships, based on things he has said in magazine articles and things prior to the murder. There was something going on with that man and Dee Dee. I don't know what, but there was something. And so he was planning on moving to Florida, well, where Dee Dee wanted to go. And Gypsy did not want to leave. And so her mother was getting sicker. She did not want to have to care for her mother anymore. She wanted a life of drugs, rock and roll, and sex, basically, older men. And Dee Dee did not want any of those things for her daughter. And I don't know a mother that would. So how sick was Dee Dee? She was pretty sick. So I don't know why Gypsy just didn't leave. And I don't understand why Gypsy thought her mother had to die. Especially not like that. Have a good one from the Good Wives. Serving up true crime.
This gets interesting. Okay, now listen to this here. This is Nina again. This kind of goes with what Fancy was just saying here.
This is the Gypsy Rose source part 2, and this is where it gets a bit sinister. But before I read this, I want to say this is all alleged. Okay, this is a source. I don't know this to be a fact, so I want you to use your discretion. Some of you might feel like this is real.
It makes sense, though.
But let me know what you feel down below, because I'm interested to know. Did you hear the allegations that Christy has confided to her friends about the night of the unaliving? Gypsy was mocking Dee Dee during the whole thing and was giggling and enjoying it and wanting to draw it out. She was actually drugging Dee Dee in the end, not the other way around. Dee Dee was entirely reliant on Gypsy for a while before the unaliving, and Gypsy would drug her to get her out the house. She was absolutely abusing Dee Dee, and not because Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy, which isn't true either, but because she was wanting to have intercourse, and Dee Dee wanted her to stay and take care of her, and obviously reluctant for Gypsy to leave her. Get this one. Dee Dee became bedbound and needed Gypsy's help. Dee Dee stopped caring about the scam and was ready to come clean so she could access help for herself, and so Gypsy wouldn't be left vulnerable and alone if she passed away or got worse. She was done with it all, and Gypsy wasn't. She wanted to keep it going while being allowed to bring guys home and continue to manipulate the world so that she could be taken care of, and perhaps because she enjoyed the attention and pity. Her breaking point was Dee Dee being ready to own up to everything. She was sick of it, and it couldn't benefit her in her mind anymore. She figured if there was to be consequences, that because she was in poor health, that it'll be minimal. And at that time, it would give Gypsy an out and an opportunity to start a normal life, because dying and leaving Gypsy alone was something she hated the thought of. Christy has said many times that Dee Dee genuinely cared about Gypsy and thought she was doing right by her by providing her with the things she never had otherwise. Then Katrina happened, and she realized how she could take it further and get Gypsy a home, and so on. It started spiraling. That Dee Dee definitely enjoyed the attention too, and being seen as a good mom, unlike her own mom had been, and that Gypsy was aware of very young and was going on and grew up with the choice. If it ever got too much, they could stop at any time. But Gypsy enjoyed the act and the role playing, and often would be the one to complain about feeling hurt or sick. Gypsy unalived Dee Dee because she knew that if Dee Dee was gone, that her story would never be told, and only Gypsy's version would ever be known. She grew up with the lying and the manipulating being the norm. She was so used to getting what she wanted that the idea it'll all be taken away from her and her control being removed pissed her off. Because Gypsy was and is the control freak, and if it's not her way, if it's not in her way, Gypsy was, and oh no, if it was not in her way. If it's not her way, she doesn't care what happens to whoever is in her way. She hated that her mom refused to let her be a whore, and she hated that her mom was no longer useful. She wasn't able to benefit off of her mom's scam, and she was scared she'd be left with all the blame and repercussions on her if Dee Dee got worse and passed away, and their scam was found out. She knew her life was changing, and to gain control, she groomed Nick and planned everything out, down to drugging her mom and making her mom fully housebound and reliant on her in the meantime. She is methodical and psychotic. She has no real regret about this other than the fact that Nick isn't her clutch, so she can make sure he stays quiet about things she never is going to admit. A lot of this she admitted to Christy and sat down, and Christy sat down praising her and cheering her on just to get the truth, but only for her own gain, not because she cares what Gypsy did. They know they don't like each other, and they both act like they do, but everything is false and strained. She hates Gypsy's voice, especially calling her mom. She rants about it a lot and has said she told Mia to make sure to not sleep in the same house ever with Gypsy unless both her parents are there. And the door is locked. Mia's man is so uncomfortable around her. She just gives him the creepy vibes, but he acts nice and polite. Most of this you probably already know. I'm just getting it off my chest as I've heard so much in the last month or two. I feel like it's not like Christy to confide so much about her personal life until Gypsy moved home. Christy has motives for oversharing and actually wants people to leak the info about Gypsy. But maybe she's just sick to death of her and needs to vent. I think it's both, but Gypsy at the moment is definitely struggling with the loss of control and keeping up with her angelic persona. She can't bear that Mia and Christy see through it and call her out a lot. And Beck cannot more than her. Hence why Ryan being on speed dial. This baby is going to cause war. Just watch for engagement announcements in the next couple weeks. Her trying to distract everyone from seeing her true persona. They're all walking on eggshells right now, and Christy is about to snap, and already has said a lot to Gypsy when Gypsy tries to play victim and cried to Rod about Christy doesn't trust me to be a mom to my own baby. Yes, she's privately confronted Ken about Christy and forced him to tell her about everything he's spoken to Christy about and accused him of looking at Christy a lot, but tells Christy now how ridiculous the rumors are. These people are insane, and Mia will be removing herself from this situation sooner than later. Now she's fully realizing the extent of Gypsy's true character and needing to put her career first and protect it. So that is pretty much what they said. The rest is kind of like things to keep them confidential and like details that they don't want me to share. But y'all, I feel like some of this we kind of speculated. Now, when it comes to the unaliving, I really didn't realize that she did it more because of the scam and wanting to be out there with guys. I thought it was just for the sausage. So this kind of was like, I don't know, it was a little enlightening. I thought possibly it could have been it, but I didn't think that was the main drive. And knowing that Didi wanted to put it all to the side, allegedly, just so that she could get more access to help, it makes sense because she didn't want to leave Gypsy in a bad situation. This is all really weird, but this just really shows you that everything you do will catch up with you and really to just make good decisions because at the end of the day, your kids could be affected by your mistakes. So this was the part 2. It was just a lot to put in one video. I don't know what to say, but I do think it's possible that Christy is oversharing so that the information gets out. I don't know what to think. What do y'all think? Drop it down below. Have a good day. Bye for now.
They did act together in the medical fraud, but a lot of the stuff that Gypsy had done medically was legit for the medical condition she has. They just milked it. No, Star Mom, I agree. And no, she can't even take care of herself or no. Because like all the surgeries and everything that she had done was because of her medical condition that she was actually really diagnosed with to begin with, and they just milked it. They used it to their advantage. Okay, this next one here, it is a live that Fancy done last night. We're going to watch it. It's a long one, but I got it sped up, and it's very interesting. So it won't be as long as it is because I'm going to speak.
The Good Vibes Network. Hoo-wee. It's been an interesting night, folks. So if you're just joining me, please make sure that you're sharing this out and that you are letting everybody know that I'm live because I have a lot to talk about right now. I can't even believe this has happened. Um, Insanity. Absolute insanity. Hey guys, hi guys. Oh, thank you, Chicken Taco. Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys, thank you. For those of you that are joining over here, I don't know if you guys know, but I just got off a TikTok live with Blanchard. Rod Blanchard. I was informed by a source that Rod had been on a live on TikTok. Thank you guys, thank you. And that he was saying that I had some merit to some of my thought processes and some of the things that I did. And so I only came over there to verify that he had said that. And so I popped up in the box just so I could ask specifically to Ivory because I wanted to confirm. They did confirm it for me, and I was speaking. And I'm sorry, guys, I broke my glasses again. I really love these glasses, but I hate them because they're flimsy as fuck. It just literally fell off my face. So yeah, Candy, I have information that is inaccurate, that he is out of the home and that things are going down. But until I have absolute confirmation, I'm not going to come out and speak onto that one way or the other. Well, happy birthday, Ryan, very much. When he said he doesn't know what happened, even he doesn't believe Gypsy. Yeah, okay. I believe that Rod is in denial, and I believe that Rod has some serious thought process that he needs to go through. But I do believe that what I said was things that made him think. Yeah, I know it was damage control. That's the only reason why Rod's running around and doing this because there is no other reason. I'm serious. There is no other reason. Rod never speaks on social media. Rod never puts out videos. This is not Rod. So I believe, no conspiracy. I didn't record it. I had no idea what was even happening, but lots of people said that they were, and that they will send me pieces of it. And I'm actually going to ask Ivory Rose if she will let me do this. I hope what you said sticks in his brain. You spat out facts. I feel like he doesn't know the truth. And see, that was the thing, guys. I've only talked to Rod one time. One time. I sat on his back porch with him. I talked with him. And since that day, I have only spoken to his wife and his daughter. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. So that was amazing. Thank you, Starlight. Oh my God. Thank you, Starlight. Thank you. I wasn't sure you were there. Starlight, will you come up on panel, please? Will you come up on panel? Oh, okay. You're listening. Never mind. It's okay. It's very late. Um, I do think he feels like he has to back Gypsy, likely, yes, because he thinks he already failed her, and this is his second chat at her dad. Yeah, exactly. So, see, guys, I have not understood what I have not understood what Rod's thought process has been in all of this because I never really got to ask him a lot of questions, and so that was really helpful to me to understanding what he really does believe and what he really doesn't. And after that, I truly believe Rod has not a clue as to all the scamming and all the things that were going on as Dee Dee was growing up. I think that's okay. Thank you, Starlight. I will definitely come if you send me an invite. Okay, and um, and I think that your lifetime rights contract dispute doesn't fall under contract law. I'm not quite sure I understand your question, ranting and raving. So can you clarify it for me? Because it might, I just don't know. So listen, I really feel that, thank you guys. And if you guys want to hit the box, I will be happy to have you guys come up and talk about this because I'm kind of in shock right now. I can't even believe this happened. Like I'm just blown away. And like I said, that really confirmed for me a lot of things with Rod and what I do believe he did or did not know and how much he was or was not involved. However, I do believe I caught him in quite a few things that were very suspicious. Him stating that he had not seen Gypsy walk since she was 3 or 4 years old. When we have Mac, will you come up, please, Mac? I really could use you. Can I drop you a link in here? Can you just join me into StreamYard, Mac? Can you do that, please? All right, I'm gonna start bringing people up on here. My microphone is not connected, guys. So if it's hard to hear me, I'm very sorry. But my little adapter freaking thing fell out today. Hey, Alejandra, how are you? I'm great.
I am happy he spoke out. Don't let them silence you, but that's what they do with everybody. And I saw a lot of details that how would you know until 3 years old? I don't take that story either.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. Okay, so hold on a second, guys. I have a question over here that I was trying to answer before I brought you all up. It says, I'm sorry that I meant that one clip. You said this dispute between you and Gypsy over your lifetime contract has nothing to do with contract law. Can you clarify? Yes. Okay. If they were to only have sued me for violating the contract, then that would have fallen under contract law. Well, any information that I've ever put out there scrubbed. They were trying to remove from the internet any of my content that had anything to do with them. They no longer wanted me to be able to say that I was a leading expert in anything. They wanted me to take down anything and everything I've ever made. They wanted me to never be able to speak about them again. That's not contract law. That is First Amendment violation. It 100% is a violation of my First Amendment rights as a member of media. And I don't give a shit what Mike Stanfield fucking says. I'm a member of media. This is social media. Maybe you missed that second word. Not to mention, I do own a production company. All right, guys.
Just wait, child. We hear Rod speak, and he is so naive, or I don't know. He just, poor guy.
Over here, go ahead and start asking questions. Amy, can you believe this?
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you schooled him, girl. You did
Yeah.
an awesome job.
Okay, so Alejandra, you were up first. So did you have a question, or did you just want to tell me what you told me?
How can he be so blind that he knows the child he saw the child up to 3 years old and all the facts are out there, the pictures and the age she was there growing.
Correct.
And he just saying to her dad watching his head and watching him manipulating the way she knows how to do it to not put the media out here.
Correct. Correct. I mean, that.
How can you say? How can you say you didn't know about your ex-wife, about this, your child? You're always working, but your wife couldn't tell you, hey, my this had to step out that live across the world here in Central America, and I didn't have to know everything what his daughter do. How did you know?
Correct.
You're right.
It's hard to hear that other person talking. It's on their end.
She was in trouble.
Yeah.
And she was playing around with a lot of men.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. Okay, well, Bert, I think.
Hey, Nicole,
Bert, I think you were.
I'm trying to stay focused here. I got all the interviews and stuff lined up to play.
Okay. Hey, Wildbird.
So I was there for that. Thank the Lord. I'm so glad I did miss it.
Yeah.
I caught a few things there. So
okay, before you do that, let me answer this real quick. You're asking, guys, what my outcome do you hope for in all of this strife? I don't understand your motivation and end goal. I've made my motivation and end goal very clear. I am after truth, and I believe that the public deserves the truth in this case. And I believe that Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Christy Blanchard, Mike Stanfield, and HBO all worked together to sell a narrative so that she could take a plea deal and convict Nicholas. That's my motivation. That's my end goal. I want to prove that. I want to prove that the investigation was stopped by Dan Patterson. I want to prove that Nick's civil rights were violated. Does that answer your question? Because that's what it's all about. That's why I've done all of this. That's why I've put up with all the strife. That's why I've put up with all of this, because it was a quest for truth and it was a bigger story than me or any of them. Okay. Hey, Wildbird, let's go.
Hey, girl. Okay, so I caught a few things there. I think we all believe that Rod is just willfully, but I think from a parental standpoint, he is blind with it.
I absolutely believe.
Used to, let yourself go from.
Right.
He doesn't. He just doesn't.
He just doesn't. Right.
And the thing is, it doesn't reflect on him that she's like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He needs to realize that. I mean, we could talk all night about nature versus nurture, but I mean, I just think you gave him a lot to think about, and I really hope he does think about it, and I really hope he does at some point reach out to you, because you guys could have a nice one-on-one conversation.
Right. Panel, what do you think?
So I wanted to add something.
Hey, and I know you've talked a lot, so you can stay, but can I let Bonnie or one of the other members speak before you do? Okay, because I know Bonnie tried to speak too.
I want to say, I was watching the live when you came in, speaking to Rod, and shortly after he left, he proceeded to say that he has no violations for her parole, that's not true either, that's a lie. And I'm like, well, I think that, that's been proven to be truthful. And am I correct with that, Nancy? Is that true that she has got violations that you're aware of?
To what?
Yes, there's a text message that says that I've gotten a slap on the wrist, but the next time I'm going back. Now, there's no way that either he does not know what is going on and he's trying to cover, or he cannot be being kept that much in the damn dark.
Right.
I understand that man goes. I understand he's out 28 days on, 28 days off, but nobody can be that much in the damn dark when he is the custodial for her to be in that house. They would absolutely have to keep him up to date with slaps on the wrist or whatever violation she has.
Right.
He absolutely knows what slap she has, and when she has a text message out there floating around that she absolutely got a slap and she absolutely will be going back if she continues on with this, of course, behavior of thinking she's going to law. then he absolutely knows exactly what is going on. And I don't know why that entire family cannot just say, you know what, look, we have pie on her face. She got out. She fucked up. She's sorry. She's going to do better. And instead of keeping trying to sweep things under the rug that we know without a doubt are true, because she keeps telling on herself and everybody that she surrounds herself with,
Mm-hmm.
the minute he stepped foot out of that prison. Well,
Yeah,
he got his ass because he said she didn't have 4 violations, is what his exact words. She
Right.
didn't have 4 violations.
Right.
I mean,
Hey, Nelly.
also,
Yeah, Nelly,
hear
jump in
what-
here.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Nelly.
Did you also hear what he said? Is like, what do you expect me to do? Step up?
Right.
Yes.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's play devil's advocate because I live here. I see the shit. Okay, that these men work offshore. I know my dad did, my ex-husband did. You know, and they are not unreachable like they are trying to make it seem like.
Right.
They can call home every day. I mean, back when then, you know, all they get was calling. Now they get to video calls and all this other stuff. And it's been like that since Gypsy was young. And he can focus calls every day. Yeah, and they see what she's doing, and it's unbelievable to me, honestly. Devil's advocate here. I think if he admits to all of it, then that means he has some kind of all of it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want it.
Right.
He's a coward. I'm sorry.
I agree. He's a coward. Yeah.
He's like, oh, she's 33. She's a grown woman. I gotta let her make mistakes. Okay. So you're saying that she murdered her mom on mistake? That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice.
Oh, I love that. Where he said it was just a bad decision. I'm like, dude, a bad decision?
These aren't bad decisions. These aren't mistakes. Well, it is a bad decision, but these are choices. She's making choices, and they're standing by and say, well, as long as the mighty dollar comes in, you go right on ahead.
Did you have a question, honey?
So first, I want to say this before I forget. While you were talking about the cancer, I don't know if Dee Dee had cancer, but there was a book on her bookshelf with the diabetes book that said Eat Healthy with Cancer.
Yes, there were a lot of those things like that all over the house. Yes. And wait a minute, let me further expand on that real quick. The explanation that they have given for those books being in the home at different various times is they were alleging that she would buy these type of books for dummies on, you know, I have a book for dummies on fibromyalgia. So they would say that she was buying those so that she could then create all the things inside of it by reading about it. Well, why would she have her own about cancer and eating healthy? That would be ludicrous. That's not going to help you to fake cancer. That's going to teach you how to eat healthy with cancer.
Well, no, I didn't see any books about Gypsy's conditions.
Exactly.
So that doesn't play out at all for that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So.
And then I also kept hearing, like, not understand how.
Because all Gypsy has is that chromosome deletion, and it's legit.
And I wanted to yell that, like, in Munchausen, people aren't faking it. They're really being, like, you know, they're being sickened. They're being poisoned. And she was, like, according, like, I saw the documents he released, and she malingered all the time. And if she wasn't malingering, then she really did have swallowing problems.
No, she really did. No, she really did. And I think she still does. That's why she freaking licks her lips 100 times and has excessive saliva. It didn't fix it. It just made it tolerable. Somebody over here, Mandy, you're saying that Dee Dee had cervical cancer. Can you please tell me where you've gotten that information? Because I have not seen anything like that. And in the records I have, which are very few for Dee Dee, I don't have that. So if you have some information about that, please let us know in the chat. Thank you.
I saw something about cervical cancer. A screenshot somewhere. It was from an original group about Gypsy, and the lady claimed to have been a friend of Dee's in Louisiana. She claimed that she got her kids into all kinds of stuff for free, that she knew that Dee Dee was a fraud, but like she didn't want to hurt Gypsy at all. And she said cervical cancer. I have a screenshot.
I need you to send that to me, please, Jessica. What are you talking? What's she talking about, Nelly?
It's a woman named Sue Bordelon from down in the Slidell area, and she said that she knew all about it, but she wasn't going to say anything because, you know. Yes. She said, actually, I think her words were along the lines of, who am I to call her out when we were all enjoying the benefits? She was actually that bold to say it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
There were people who benefited from what Dee Dee was doing.
No, I knew that. There were ones that said they went on their little vacations or little trips with them, adventures. Yeah.
Yeah. She has like poor people do things. She was a single mom. You know, who am I to see that she was wrong in doing those things? She was just trying to give Gypsy the best life.
Right.
And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, Mac, if you can look at Kiss, she's been dropping a question, or she's been asking a question, but I don't know. I'm not going to talk about my opinion on Zora right now. Somebody did, however, ask me to explain the difference between Munchausen by proxy and malingering by proxy, which is what exactly that I tried to explain to Rod tonight. Munchausen by proxy is when physical procedures are done on her that were not necessary. Surgeries, procedures, any of those things, you know, treatments, whatever. In her medical records, we do not see any evidence of this. In fact, based on the chromosome disorder, it shows that all of those things are likely tied exactly to the chromosome disorder, and they are various things that all are affected by the chromosome disorder, but they're not necessarily, they're more comorbid with the chromosome disorder than just caused by it. It's very technical, but so Munchausen by proxy means they're physically doing something to them to either make them sick, harm them, to actually get physical treatments done. Now, malingering by proxy is not listed in the DSM-5 as a disorder because it is only done for profit. A Munchausen by proxy's motivation is all about being this amazing caregiver and saving them and keeping them close. In fact, that's what Lacey Spears explained to me was the reason why she was doing it to garner made him sick, then he would always have to stay with her and he would be with her forever and he would not abandon her like other people had abandoned her in her life. She never gave any thought process to the fact that the hospital would not be able
Hey,
to save
Sonia
him. And
love.
when the hospital was not able to save him, she turned on the hospital and blamed them because she was not going to take any responsibility at the time for her own actions. She has since told people now that she did do it and she knows why she did it and all of those things. So that is the motivation between Munchausen by proxy. It is a psychological need for being cared for and caring for this person and them being dependent on you. Malingering by proxy is for financial gain and financial gain only. And according to what we see, that's exactly what this was. I hope that makes sense.
Munchausen by proxy is a diagnostic that is in the DSM-5. So it is a disorder that people use to make someone sick, to be the hero. And that is not attention seeking. That is an actual modified disorder. That's what the difference is. Didi never had a modified disorder of Munchausen by proxy. He chose to exploit these particular issues for financial gain. That is by definition malingering.
Right.
That is not DSM-5.
Right. Hi, Lisa Cat. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
No, Cindy, I do not believe she was doing both. No, you're not understanding. No. Based on her medical records, which I have all of them from 2000 on.
There was no
she
Munchausen.
was malingering, and that's it. Hey, Lisa, what's up?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, good. The licking on the lips, you mentioned that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I watched her testimony the other night on the trial.
Yes.
For 123 minutes that she was on the stand, she didn't lick once.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, so I was like, this girl, I think she perpetuates that lick when the cameras are around, when it suits her.
Because
so I have to say, like, today, when you were talking to Rod, I feel like Rod is the real victim because he really doesn't know what's going on. So I feel like he's being lied to from everybody in his life. Okay, let me point out one thing. If she was absolutely a component of Munchausen by proxy, if Gypsy was truly a component of Munchausen by proxy, Didi would have actually been making her ill. She would not have been able to get up out of that wheelchair and walk away. The fact that Gypsy was able to get out of that wheelchair and walk away means that Didi was not making her sick. Perpetuating out there that she is sick is not the same as making her sick. Munchausen by proxy, they will do things to make them sick. They will poison them.
Yes.
They will do things to them. None of that was at any point. Gypsy could have gotten out of that chair and got up.
I think Gypsy was making Didi sick.
You actually make someone else sick. You do something.
Exactly, Scout.
Them being sick. You actually make them sick. And that is the difference that you guys are not seeming to understand.
Exactly.
I understand your comment, Ryan, because I'm a nurse and I know what you're talking about. I'm simply saying that Gypsy Rose is a con artist.
Yes.
I wasn't texting you. And I'm simply saying that I really do believe the father really is oblivious to the fact of the condition that his daughter has.
Right.
Nancy, you said something saying,
But what does abuse have to do with this, Cha?
something about them. Oh no, you weren't there. Something about like parenting. You were talking about like Rodney's like parent. First of all, she's an adult. Okay, parenting is out the window. She's what, 32 years old. But what
Hey,
Gypsy
Carl.
was Gypsy doesn't listen to anyone. The minute you tell her what to do, or the minute she feels like control is being taken from her,
Yes.
she's out.
Yes.
She taps out.
And then she goes for the blood. Now, Lisa, I do want to clear up. Ryan was not speaking to you. She wasn't disputing you. She was talking to somebody in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she wasn't coming at you.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like I feel like the father situation. I feel like he sided with us at times.
Yes.
But I feel like his wife is helping the sister as Gypsy.
I agree with that.
So I do feel like the whole story from the beginning was watching Hans in insurance scam.
Could be.
I do believe that Gypsy Rose needed a feeding tube.
I do too. Yep.
Okay, I am confused on what you're trying to say, Cha. Because there was never no medical neglect. She got treated for what she needed. All the procedures and stuff she had done was because of her chromosome deletion, but they just lied to the world, to everybody else, not to the doctors.
You know, people have made a big deal about having a feeding tube and eating solids. You can have a feeding tube and still eat solids. I mean, this is very normal.
Right. No, totally.
But people, when the documentary came out, they had said, "Oh, well, she had a feeding tube, but we used to see her eating." Again, these are uneducated people.
Exactly. Colleen has a feeding tube, the exact feeding tube that she.
I didn't know
she sat down
people
and
were
explained to me exactly
saying
how it works, exactly what
about
it would cost her, and
medical
how often it could
neglect.
not be used. That she could take food by mouth, but it was very hard for her. So a lot of times when her, she was having problems, especially like Gypsy with her teeth or whatever, chewing could possibly be an issue for her. And so her main source of nutrition is coming through the tube, but it doesn't mean she cannot actually eat. So hey, yeah. But hey, Julie, it's hey, welcome to the panel. Did you have another question? Julie, I muted you. You might have to unmute. Okay, I guess not. Anyway.
Well, thank you for having me on, and good work.
Thank you.
I don't want to listen to some of
Oh
these
no,
callers.
it was just law when it wasn't about contract law.
Let's see.
I did my due diligence as a parent and learned every single thing about them, and learned and made sure that I knew everything, every in, every out.
To do. He doesn't have any right to parent her at this point. Parenting time is over. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. My children are grown adults, and they will need me for the rest of their lives to guide them through their life because they have never been the age that they've ever been before. That is what parents do. We don't stop parenting at 18 years old. I don't know why you would think so. And if you are a parent who stopped parenting at 18 years old, well, you're a shitty parent who probably raised shitty kids. Sorry. Right.
Next level.
Right. Elizabeth, I'm going to drop you down, sweetheart. Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
No problem. Okay.
Not only that, she lives in his house.
Rod is just naive right now because he wants a relationship with his daughter that he never had.
Well,
I agree, Scout.
right now, currently, you're bringing up a very good point. Not only is
She was here, Carl. She just left.
She does. He has to sign a paper to say that he's going to keep her from committing parole violations. Clearly, he's not doing a very good job. But that's the whole point. He is supposed to be the person who she is reporting home to every night, who makes sure that she's in where she's supposed to be. He's supposed to encourage her to get a full.
Rod's got everybody lying to him. Gypsy, Christy, Ken, everybody.
That the state has put into place to ensure that she's not violating her parole.
But just to make everybody kind of laugh here at the same time, we see how well that went with the last parent who told her no and tried to guide her. So,
okay, well, exactly. And she called me tyrannical, and then she told me the last person that got in her way was dead. So yeah, I get where you're coming from with that.
Maybe he just doesn't want to get the DD special.
For sure. I could totally understand that. Hey guys, welcome to the panel. Did you have a question, Misty?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a statement first. I basically believe that growth is being tried to be manipulated by Gypsy and Chrissy both. I believe that the letter that you sent.
I don't like this because I can't hear the fucking callers.
I know.
It would not matter because we wouldn't believe anybody else. I wanted to drive.
Right now, I think that they are delusional or completely just liars. I think that Melissa Moore sitting up on a fucking panel talking about ice makers and shit is disgusting. I think that should answer your question. Lifetime wants it because it gives them money.
Yes,
they don't
exactly.
Care
that was very thorough.
Thank you.
He also was saying, the supporters want to hear her story. She's got a lot more to the story.
I said the same thing, child.
Could you possibly say?
Ron is a strong, independent man, and they couldn't control him. That's why he had to go. Ken is a little bitch.
Who gives a shit? Her supporters are fucking delusional. They're just as delusional as she is.
I agree. They're delusional as fuck.
Exactly.
And they're putting his face out now because the rest of them have screwed everything up. So it's like, oh,
excuse me, Carrie Ann, don't you be coming for my Mac. Nothing, because they're continuing to lie. So nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. They're not interested in telling the truth. So nothing. Yeah. Thank you, sweetheart.
If nothing else, she's the poster child for not what to do.
Exactly. Alrighty. Thanks, sweetheart. Oh my goodness, I'm tired, but my God, we're holding a room right now, and we're holding a room over here, and I just don't want it to end because I feel like this is so important.
I see the more and more evidence comes out, and I watch all the Becky Scoops videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Melissa? No? Okay. Ryan, did you have anything to add to any of that, or Amy?
Yeah, I pretty much added what I had to.
Volker, thank you. I was right. There is a motorcycle accident that supposedly happens between the ages of 7 and 8. Now we've heard that it was like she was on it, but I have heard confirmation that it was actually in the driveway. Dee Dee was not there at the time. She fell over. She hit her head. Now, do you understand that most serial killers, I'm talking like 90% of serial unalivers, all have found that they have had frontal lobe damage before the age of 21. Dahmer, when he was 5, had a surgery done that was required to be put him under anesthesia and things, and they believe that was what caused him to begin to change. Was that so? It is very 100% possible that children can be homicidal, that children can act on those things, and perhaps they were trying to cover this up for years because they all knew exactly what she was. Why was she not going to school? Why was she not interacting with other children? And other people have come forward to talk about situations where a young little girl asked her if how she could flip her voice, and she told that little girl, if you say that again, I'm going to push your eye sockets in the back of your head. And that little girl was 8 years old and was petrified and left that freaking event. Gypsy is not somebody that she's not a normal person. She's not normal. So I beg to differ with you all on that. Thank you for backing me up on that one, Ryan. Yeah. No problem. Have a good one. I'll bring up something else. Thank you. No problem. Holy crap. We could just keep going and going and going for the rest of the night, I think. Goodness gracious. Okay. Crime Talking Tea, I'm not going to let you back up right now because I'm trying to give people that have not been up here yet. Okay, so maybe if we get back around to you. Alrighty, hi guys, welcome to the panel.
Hi.
Hold on.
When you were talking about,
Go ahead, Mama.
sorry,
You have the floor.
when you were talking about what the significance of June 14th was, do you know when Dee and Rod split? Like the official date that they split up?
When you think about it, he says that she was 3 months old when he did it the second time. So that would be wrong. What maybe the first time it could have been because what's Rod's fucking birthday? I don't even know. I can't remember.
His birthday's in July, and he says in the interview shortly before Gypsy was born
That he left.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought about that. I will look into that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Also, do you know when him and Chrissy got married?
I have the date, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay.
I have it written down somewhere.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe it was when he first broke up with her mom.
Okay, that's a good. Yeah, that would make sense. I'll look into that. His birthday's July 27th. Okay, so it's not that. So yeah, no, I'm thinking you're right on that. I'll start looking into those things. We're just trying to figure out what it is because there's got to be a significance there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she did the 14th when she shot her mom a few times, and then she was out of Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to skip over here and I'm going to play a video and that Nina explains Gypsy's chromosome disorder. Oh, let's go this regular. You still here, Carl?
Y'all want proof that Gypsy Rose is a liar. And here it is.
After I went to prison, after the murder, everything came out about everything that my mother was telling me. A lot of this information came to me by either my attorney, or Christy, and stepmom. And then it got back to me. Mike had told me about what my mother was telling people about my father or about our family, our relatives. It was a lot to absorb. My two attorneys are telling me that my mother has something called Munchausen by proxy.
Before we go any further, we need to define what Munchausen by proxy symptoms are. Doctors or nurses may suspect a problem when a child has repeatedly or unusual illness and no reason can be found. The child doesn't get better, even with treatments that could help. Symptoms only occur when the caregiver is with or has recently been with the child. Now, back in 2011, Gypsy Rose was diagnosed with this chromosome disorder. Now, this little girl right here is not Gypsy Rose. This is the poster child for this chromosome disorder. Let that sink in. In this same pamphlet, it shows most likely features: small head, increased possibility of mild or moderate developmentally delay, slightly unusual facial features, increased possibility for behavioral and mental health problems, heart problems, loose joints or double jointed. Other features are seizures, disturbance in lens of the eyes, and increased risk of inborn abnormalities. And also, if you look further down, you will see obviously the muscle joints and all that stuff, which also includes the other features. But you see these kids, their heads, kind of what they look like. Do y'all remember this picture? This is the small head. These are the eyes, the nose. These are kind of slightly abnormal features that she's displaying right here. Now, if you look up a lot of kids with this disorder, a little under 75% of them actually have feeding tubes because they have issues thriving. Now, also the wheelchair was needed because she had muscle issues. yes, it was overused, but it's similar to a child when you have a stroller. When they get tired, they get in a stroller, right? It was the same thing for the wheelchair. You can look that up yourself as well. So make sure you do your research and don't just take my word for it. Again, I want you to go back to this girl. Look at her facial features. Who does she look like? And this is the poster child for this chromosomal disorder. Well, you might say, well, Nina, did her mom have Munchausen by proxy? I mean, she did say that she only learned that her attorneys told her that her mom had it, but it was never confirmed, right? So what does her mom have? Well, she was malingering, and Gypsy was malingering as well. Well, Nina, tell me what malingering is. Well, here we are. Malingering is falsification of profound exaggeration of illness, physical or mental, to gain external benefits, right? So benefits like money, street pharmacy products, leave from school, leave from work. I know some of y'all might be like, I might have been malingering a couple of times. But anyway, that's what Dee Dee was doing. She was malingering for benefits, because Gypsy actually did have issues and it was diagnosed. Now you might say, you know what, Nina, you didn't show me the medical records, although I can. I just don't want to get myself in any legal trouble. Her dad actually mentioned this chromosomal disorder. Let's rerun that clip.
System. They had done some tests and found out she had a chromosome disorder that was causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system and her muscular.
At the end of the day, Dee Dee Blanchard had never been diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy. And you cannot be diagnosed when you're no longer living on this earth. So, what are your thoughts?
Exactly. See, Gypsy thought, she'd get out of prison and stuff and everybody would still feel sorry for her because a lot of people did until she got out of prison. It's like, uh-oh, Right, Cha? No, she wasn't. It's wild, ain't it? It is wild. Hold on just a second here. Okay, now overheated. Oh goodness, Jaded, get with it, love. This is Nina again. I love Nina. I think she's the best source for this, and I don't care what anybody says. People want to talk shit about Nina, but she's my go-to for it. Okay, now this here is Rod on the live that Fancy was just talking about last night on the Ivory Rose nose on TikTok.
He has to watch his microphone because he's very low. So okay, well, I'll turn it up so I can hear him. I haven't talked to Rod since the first day that I sat on the back porch with him. Where's that?
Hello, you hear me?
We can hear you.
Fancy, I haven't been reading. I don't participate in any board meeting. with Didi to.
Hey, hold on a second. Can everyone else please mute? Because I can't hear him. I'm even going to mute. I can barely hear him.
Hear me? Nancy? Hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so Nancy, I disagree with you when you say that Didi and Christy manipulated me some kind of way when Gypsy was in the 10-year-old range. I don't agree with that. Christy and Didi weren't working together on a way to make me feel one way or another about Gypsy. I don't know where that's coming from.
Is Fancy still here?
Yeah, Fancy, can you hear him?
I get it, Fancy. That's
Sorry, I was muted so I could hear better. I was hoping my background noise would make it easier to hear him. Okay, I heard what you said, Rod, about that. I'm more talking about the fact that I think you've been misled to understanding what actually is in Gypsy's medical records that are actually correct. And I'm also think you might have been misled to think of how Gypsy's developmental, as far as behavioral and the different things that come along with this chromosome disorder, that she could be predisposed to have these types of behavioral issues and tendencies. It even ties into schizophrenia, Rod. I'm not sure if you know that or not.
Has Gypsy been diagnosed with schizophrenia?
No, I did not say that she had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, Rod. What I said is the
I feel
chromosome
bad for
disorder
Rod. He's
leads
so
to several
clueless.
types of severe behavioral issues that can have comorbidity with the chromosome disorder. And based on that, these childish antics and the different things and the violent behavior and all the things she has exhibited for years and years and years, we have so many stories of just things that she did all along the way, Rod, that was probably very concerning for Didi.
Does it explain how she was able to stay in a wheelchair and then all of a sudden be able to walk?
Well, if I recall correctly, when she first told you about the wheelchair, she said that the reason that the wheelchair was being utilized was because she had muscle weakness. And at some point in time, if she walked too much, then she would get tired and her muscles would hurt, correct?
Yes, that is correct. That's what Didi told me the first time I asked her after the accident.
Okay. So based on that, Rod, and the muscle biopsy, and that she was diagnosed with fiber to atrophy. They ruled out muscular dystrophy, but they did find that she did have some muscle tone weakness. Now, with this chromosome disorder, the doctor that I have spoken with about this has explained to me that a lot of those type of things, the muscle weakness, the eyes, the ears, all the different things that you just couldn't figure out what was wrong. A lot of those things are things with physical therapy or any of the things that she actually did participate in could help those conditions to either cease to exist any further because she outgrows them, or they at least go down to a point that she can manage them without all the different things she was needing to manage them with in the first place. But I do believe that the wheelchair was used as a way to con charities and individuals. I do believe she was doing that. I'm just telling you, I don't believe, based on her medical records and the people have looked at it, I do not believe she was medically child abusing Gypsy. I believe it was medical fraud.
Do you think that making her stay in the wheelchair can be considered Munchausen by proxy, which is
no, it's not. No, it would not be considered Munchausen by proxy. It's a fraud. That would be malingering, which is for profit. Didi did not do this because I don't know if you know about Munchausen by proxy, but Munchausen by proxy is for a specific reason, and that's for them to get accolades. It's for them to be seen as the conquering hero. All of those things. So even the experts that I've spoken to about this have said that if it was only for profit, and that's what we believe it is, and what we're showing in the evidence, Rod, and I'm serious, I'll sit down and talk with you guys. I even offered to come and talk to Chrissy about this despite our differences. But what happened is it's called malingering, which is solely for profit. And Gypsy testified to that in court when she was asked, why did she make you do this? And she said it was for financial gain. In her interrogation, she had mentioned the same thing. So that would make it malingering by proxy, not Munchausen by proxy. And it has a completely different psychological thing. It's not listed. Malingering is not listed in the DSM-5 as a disorder because it's not a mental disorder. They're making a conscious decision to fraud people. There's a difference. I don't believe Didi abused your daughter medically.
Okay, so I pulled up online right here the Munchausen syndrome by proxy definition, and it says the goal is to make it appear as if the person is sick or injured. Which I think that's what Didi did, whether or not it was for or whatever.
No, Rod. The difference is when it's when the financial gain part comes in. It's not Munchausen, it's malingering. That's the difference. So sitting her in a wheelchair, okay, is not causing her any physical discomfort in the medical field. It's not a procedure. It's not anything. And I do believe she was able to walk around the home in Springfield based on the way that the home looks, based on the fact that there was no way those wheelchairs were getting through there. There's also tons of dust on all of them. They were covered in things. She was not using the wheelchair at that point in time because she no longer needed it. Dee Dee even told them in 2011 in her records, Rod, that she was no longer interested in pursuing any type of other disorders or any information as to why Gypsy had certain conditions they could not explain yet, because it was explained all by the chromosome disorder, and she was just happy that she had a stable child. That is notated exactly by the doctor. So I'm telling you, if she had done medical procedures to her that were absolutely not necessary, that's Munchausen by proxy. Based on what our records show, she didn't do that. What she did was create a false, basically a veil for financial profit, and that makes it different than Munchausen by proxy. Does that make sense?
Not really. I mean, I didn't see the definition of malingering.
Well, you're going to have to look up malingering because it's very specific. Dr. Feldman even talked about this.
You going to let me talk or not?
No, I'm sorry. I can't hear you well, so there's a lag, Rod. I'm not trying to be rude.
Okay, so I haven't read the definition of malingering by proxy, but I'm here since the goal is to interpret that the person is sick or injured and to deceive others into believing that full attention is necessary. And you can have your opinion on what if it was abuse or not, if you made her sick, if a prescription pad.
Okay, can I ask you a question about the prescription pad?
What's that?
Can I ask you a question about the prescription pad that Christy says she found? Where did she find that prescription pad, and have you actually seen that prescription pad?
Absolutely, I was there with her. Myself.
Okay, and where was it when you found it, Rod?
In the bedroom somewhere.
It was in the bedroom. Okay. Now, here's the thing about that. What I can tell you is that Christy actually gave me the book from inside Dee Dee's home, which showed all the records of her picking up every single medication for her and Gypsy for several years. They weren't using several different pharmacies, and all the things that Gypsy was prescribed at the time, I do believe was medically necessary. And so she wasn't going to she was not doctor shopping, Rod, like you guys have been led to believe. She wasn't going to different pharmacies and getting different medications all over the place. Those are the indications of Munchausen by proxy. Again, everything she was doing was for financial gain, and that changes the way that this story has to be looked at. I'm sorry, it does.
I haven't said that she was doctor shopping. I only said she lied to the doctors down here.
About time, Megs. Carl was in here looking for you.
Lost, Rod. Did you know that the records weren't lost?
Yes.
Did you know that Dr. Steele received them in September of 2005, and in that is where he would have known that muscular dystrophy was ruled out in 2000 and 2001, and he continued to chart it. He also lied on Lifetime Confessions about seeing those records, and he also lied about the records he was holding in his hand, because all of the ones that he was holding in his hand were from Children's, and I have those records, and he was the referring doctor to all of those specialists, Rod.
Well, I don't know about the doctor. I don't know if he lied or not. I'm not.
I do. That's the thing. I have these records, and what I'm saying, I have actual evidence and proof of. I'm not making these claims just to make these claims, Rod. I don't want anything bad to happen to you guys. I don't. I came to this story because I cared. And then your wife lied to me. Your daughter lied to me. And then they put a smear campaign together to discredit and defame me. And I'm sorry. That is when I became on the defensive. But truthfully, Rod, all I care about today is truth. I don't care about all the bullshit. I just want it to stop. And it has been coming from Gypsy since January of this year. She put out, let me finish, Rod, please. She put out a Facebook post asking everyone to deplatform me on every single platform to end my tyranny. I have never caused tyranny to you. I have never kept any type of ability for you to earn money. The contract you signed was solid. And I know that if we had gotten through the court case, we might have decided to pay you out for the things that we offered to pay you for in the first place, which I had no problem doing. But as far as anything else, Rod, my contract is extremely solid, and I did everything I said I was going to do, and I still am doing those things. This is not a witch hunt, Rod. I didn't mean to turn on your family like this and just be shitty. They turned on me, and they hurt me on purpose. And your wife has done that, and you're going to have to realize it. I can show you all of it.
As far as I know, Fancy, we had a 2-year option with you, life rights option for 2 years, right? And you were supposed to produce something in
No,
2 years?
actually, no, it's not. Rod, no, it's not a 2-year option. Actually, it had a 2-year option for the very first project, which we completed the podcast in the 2-year period. Any additional projects that we made past that, you had an additional clause in there that you would be paid out at a lesser fee for the additional projects, including books, podcasts, media, anything that we made after that, you had an additional payout. The only reason we never paid you out is because your wife made it so my podcast could not be monetized, could not be earning money. Otherwise, we would have paid you for the viable project. Your wife also offered to come onto that project, and she told me the reason that she could not be interviewed on that podcast was because you told her not to. I have those screenshots. She also went to Natasha Cooper and told Natasha Cooper that I cheated on my husband in California while I was out there pitching the project, that I did not pitch the project, and I contracted an STD. She is the one who did that. I have the screenshots of that as well. Rod, I'm not lying. She has done these things, and I think you are offshore way too often that you don't know what your daughter and your wife are doing. I'm not mad at you at all. I don't believe you've done this. I believe your daughter and your wife has, because I believe they're covering up the motive for Gypsy unaliving Dee Dee. I'm sorry. I do believe this with my whole heart, and I have evidence to prove that it's true.
Well, you have your evidence, Fancy, in your case. I'm not saying that you don't have some valid the information that
absolutely, thank you.
If I'm hearing, or from what I understand, or what I believe, is we had a 2-year contract with you. It didn't work out. We felt you were unprofessional. You were having drama with other people online. People don't do that.
Because your wife created that drama. She created all the drama with Natasha Cooper, and that is who it was originally causing all the problems with me, Rod. She created that. She went to Natasha. She asked her to do the things she did. She helped them find. She told Natasha Cooper that I had done all these different things where I cheated on my husband and all that. Those are in text messages to me, to Natasha, and your wife admitted to doing it. Rod, I'm telling you, I'm not crazy. I know what I'm talking about. And if you'd like to sit down and discuss it, I will be happy to do so with you and your lawyer only. I do not want Christy involved. I do not want your daughter involved. I will sit down with the contract. We'll go over it. We'll talk about that. And I'm willing to negotiate this with you. All I want is the truth, Rod. It's what I told you when I sat on your back porch. The good, the bad, the ugly. And I told you both that I would know if you were lying. And when I found out that your wife was lying and your daughter was lying on several things, I could no longer ethically work with you, and I cut ties. Then your wife proceeded to contact Natasha Cooper for the sole purpose of defaming and discrediting me, harassing and stalking me. We went to the FBI, and your wife was who asked us to drop the FBI case.
Okay, you're going way into too many details there.
I'm telling you the truth.
I'm trying to avoid all of this drama with all this online stuff.
Then Ash, Rod, I didn't talk about your family for over 5 years. I came out in December when the Banfield show turned me down turned me down. No, here's what happened with the Banfield show, sir. The Banfield show reached out to me. I spoke with them. I told them I was not likely the person that they wanted to speak with because I no longer worked with the Blanchard family, and I did not think, and I would not participate in anything that the Blanchard family was working on. So they asked me why, and I had a very, very frank conversation, and they asked me exactly what I wanted to say about Gypsy, and my quote was, I think that she's a very dangerous and very disturbed young lady who's doing exactly what her mama taught her to do. They sent a camera crew out. Your wife then found out because I told one TikToker that she personally knew that went to her and told her that I was going to appear on the Banfield show. She then wrote a letter to the Banfield show to tell them that if they spoke with me in any capacity, she would never, ever go on there again. She admitted to this and showed the email in a live with Brandy Jolly and Tori Johnson that Dawn Brown was in, and your wife was in the chat at the time. So I went public with that. After that, your wife, your daughter, and all their little minions, Brandy, Dawn Brown, Brown, Kendall Grant, I can go on and on, launched a smear campaign against me, went after several different people, filed complaints against the licensing board with Colleen for even just looking at the files. It has gone on and on, Rod. I'm not the one who needs to stop. It is your family and the people that associate with your family that need to stop so that I can do my job and tell the truth. That's it. I don't put out stuff I can't prove, Rod. I don't. I'm willing to sit down with you. Do you want to do that?
Not really, Fancy, honestly.
Well, your wife seems to want to, considering that you guys took me to court for money. You didn't take me to court to stop me. Every single one of the charges, the 8 charges, 7 charges that you filed were all about the fact that I did not pay you, that I had been profiting and did not pay you. You have no proof that I have profited at all, but I have proof that I did not.
Do you have any proof that you paid me?
So if you'd like me to honor the contract, I'm willing to do so. But if not, Rod, then you need to talk to your wife and anyone that's associated and tell them to stop doing what they're doing to me.
I don't think we ever got paid. What, it was $10 that you were supposed to pay us the first time we met, the only time we met?
Yes, I did. I paid Christy that $10. I absolutely did. And it doesn't matter. The project that we did was produced within the time period, within that 2-year period, which means I fulfilled my obligation to you. However, there is a clause in there that states that I was never under any obligation to make any project ever, and there was not a clause in there for me to return any of the materials. If you choose to not participate and your wife broke the contract by lying, because in there is a clause that what she was telling me was inaccurate, I no longer owed you anything. But I actually tried to negotiate with Christy at the 2-year mark to continue to make sure that you and her were paid for the efforts and the time that you put in. And I even offered to set up a trust for Gypsy at the time for that payment. Your wife turned me down. I have everything too.
Are you able to sell Gypsy's medical records alone?
You provided me all of those, and yes, actually, it's just like in their Rod. It did. It's part of our proof. We didn't sell her medical records. What we sold was the research and the evidence that put together proof she was not medically child abused. We didn't sell all of Gypsy. Didn't do anything like that. Natasha had already released them publicly, so it does not matter. And that would have been attached to a project that would have been making profit. Do you know that only 3 or 4 people actually paid for that level at any time? And it was only within the last 6 months that I've even put the medical records in there. In fact, not even then. I did not put them in there until we found the chromosome disorder this year. So I was not selling her medical. I was not doing that. They were paying to come in and see the research and the evidence that backed up research that we had done. It is absolutely 100% covered in the contract. Yes, Rod, it is. And I would have never had to do that if they would have just been truthful with me. I did not sell our medical records. I sold the viewing of them as evidence to the research that we had done to prove the chromosome disorder, which is covered in the contract. I had the ability to use it in any medium I so choose. You should have read the contract, or Rod. Maybe Stanfield should have read it for Gypsy. He didn't. And, maybe that shows what kind of shitty lawyer he is. Sorry. Maybe get a better lawyer, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not being rude. I'm really being truthful with you. Plus, also, Rod. I'm sorry, what?
What I don't understand is you were all on board with telling Gypsy's story. We met you. You sent us the screenplay or whatever you had and stuff like that.
Yes, and your wife is the person who kept that from happening, Rod. Do you understand that?
What happened all of a sudden, when
you don't know. That's exactly it right there, Rod. You just said it. I don't know.
Coming up with this theory about Gypsy wasn't abused. I mean,
it's not a theory, Rod. It's proven in her medical record. I didn't say Gypsy is not abused. I want to make this very clear. Okay, what Dee Dee did to her, teaching her. Please let me finish, Rod. Rod, please let me finish. Listen. I am not disputing that there could have been psychological abuse. I am not disputing that. I do dispute that there is physical, because there's no evidence of that. Now, I'm not disputing psychological abuse. I'm also not disputing that teaching a child to lie, grift, steal as a way of life is not in some way abusive. However, what I'm telling you is it's not a theory that she was not medically child abused. It is facts proven by her own medical records, which I can go through with you at great length. And I can even call in the doctor and the nurse practitioner, or nurse with master's education, in to explain it to you. You need to go to a doctor. You guys need to go to genetic counseling. I even reached out to Jasmine recently to tell Christy that I would provide all of those records to you in any way, shape, or form to aid you guys in understanding the chromosome disorder better. I'm not the enemy, Rod. I'm just trying to do my job, and I'm trying to actually help your family understand what your daughter has. You guys are delusional as to who she is and what she has. I'm sorry.
I don't think you'll ever convince me, or anybody will ever convince me, that Gypsy wasn't abused. It's hard for me to put myself
I'm not saying she wasn't, Rod. Rod, okay, look, there are specific criteria to prove medical child abuse, and she does not have that specific criteria. Okay, so I'm not saying she wasn't abused in any way, shape, or form. There's no substantiated proof she was abused emotionally or physically. Okay, but it's not to say it didn't happen. What I'm telling you is I can say within a shadow of a doubt, she was not medically child abuse, which is the new clinical term for Munchausen by proxy, or factitious disorder imposed upon another. It was malingering, and yes, I'm assuming that is abusive. It was controlling. I had a controlling mother. She was abusive. Okay, that's why I came to this case, because I understood But what you're not understanding is there is a clear difference between that type of abuse and medical child abuse.
Okay, so
I'm not saying she wasn't abused, Rod.
How much
Possibly.
how much abuse does somebody have to take to think about killing their own mother? Okay, think about
Exactly, Rod, but I don't think it was abuse. Could it be another reason? Could there be another reason for her wanting to unalive her mother?
I can't get a word in with you, Fancy. I can't. You gonna let me talk, please?
I'm sorry. Yes, I will. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rod.
So, like I said, nobody can convince me that she wasn't abused. Put myself in Gypsy's shoes.
Okay.
Think about killing your own mother, trying it before, running away, getting caught, brought back, chained up, so controlled. You can call it medical abuse, malingering, whatever you want to call it. That's just semantics. But to think that you're gonna kill your own mother to get away from
Rod, may I ask you a question about what you just said? Do you have any proof whatsoever that Gypsy was ever chained to a bed anywhere other than her saying it?
I do not. But you want to believe you? Okay. And
Rod, without evidence, there's no way for you to prove that, and there's no way for me to prove it did not happen. So the only thing I can tell you is that, again, medical child abuse did not occur. So then if you want to just look at abuse, that's fine. However, most abuse victims do not unalive their mothers. And I do not believe that was the motivation for your daughter to unalive Dee Dee. I believe there is evidence that shows a different motive. And she was already gone. She had walked out. She was 23 years old. And Rod, she did know how old she was. It's very clear that she knew how old she was based on several things in the police reports. She also was told the officers that she was thrown out 2 days before. So what possible reason, Rod, would she have to go back and unalive her mother? Her mom told her, go to Wisconsin with the boy. At least you'll be happy. She told the detectives that. Why didn't she just do that?
I think she was scared of shit of her mom. She thought that was the only way out.
I think her mother was scared shitless of her.
It was a bad decision. She knows that. She went to court. All the evidence that you have is the
Right,
same.
I think Dee Dee was scared of her too. I agree.
To buy, a bad decision is smoking pot and getting caught for it. That's a bad decision. A bad decision is not unaliving your mother when you had every ability to walk out. You knew that you could prove that you were 23 years old. The abuse that you guys are alleging, the medical child abuse, had all but stopped in 2011 by her records anyway, if that's to be believed. So she had no reason, Raj. All she had to do was leave or call you. I don't believe any amount of abuse warrants what she did, nor do I believe it is the motivation, Rod. I'm sorry.
Well, so you're trying to prove a motive when this...
I'm sorry, repeat. I can't hear you. Repeat. I'm trying to prove what?
Her motive? That's what you're trying to prove. When she's got her sentence.
Motive.
All the evidence that you have, Fancy, all those medical records, they had all of this stuff.
Yeah, your wife lied about having him too, Rod. Did you know that?
She was offered a plea deal. She took the plea deal.
Yeah, when did she take that? Okay, let me ask you a question, Ron. First of all, I want to ask two questions. At what point in time did you start working with HBO? And at what point in time did Gypsy take her plea deal, please?
We started working with HBO before the plea deal, and when the show came out.
Okay, so when did they provide you with the USB drive that you handed to Mike Stanfield to use in her defense for her plea deal? When did that happen? Because I have a letter stating that HBO and Aaron Lee Carr gave you this and gave you a copy for Mike Stanfield to go ahead and get that plea deal. So when did that happen?
I don't know what went on between HBO and Mike Stanfield. Mike Stanfield was the defense attorney.
No, you do know, because that letter was addressed to both you and Christy, telling you that they concluded a USB drive to give to Mike Stanfield. It is in the letter I have from HBO. It's your letter to you and Christy.
So what's the point? It's evidence. Whoever Mike.
The point is that HBO and Gypsy, Christy, and not you. I'm sorry, not you. Let me explain. The deal is that HBO, Mike Stanfield, Christy, and Gypsy sold a false narrative to the public before she took her plea deal, before Nick went to trial, so that she could get that plea deal and she didn't have to go to trial and face the same penalties that Nicholas did. Because I believe that if a jury had seen all the evidence that I have, they would have convicted your daughter on life, just like they did Nicholas. And when they did that, they released Mommy Dead and Dearest before he went to trial to bias the jury. I'm sorry. You've been had by your own family, sir. I don't have a beef with you, Rod. I never have. I think that you were a father at 17 who was, picked a woman who was overbearing and bossy and mean sometimes. And she tried to manipulate you and you saw that and you ran away. I get that. No fault in that.
But I do believe that you have a pattern of dating and being with manipulative women, and you allow them to do this to you and control you in this manner, and you may not even notice. But what I'm telling you, sir, is I have the records, the evidence to back up the claims I'm making, and perhaps you might want to listen to me to understand better this case, because clearly, sir, you're admitting you don't know. Your wife might know, but I don't think you know all the ins and outs.
I don't need to know all the ins and outs. This is a bunch of drama.
Well, you do, Rod, because what you're saying is false.
Just knowing the fact that I seen my daughter walk for the first time in that courtroom and was able to.
Is that true, Rod? Because you're okay. Wait a minute, Rod. Okay, so you said the first time you saw your daughter walk was in that courtroom, correct?
Hey, Choctaw.
Yes.
When was the last time you had ever seen her walk?
Oh, she was probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old.
So you're telling me from 3 years old on, you never saw your daughter walk?
Not that I recall. Once she was in the wheelchair.
Okay, so the motorcycle. Okay, that's a good point. When did the wheelchair show up, Rod?
I don't know. It was after.
Was she 7, 8, or was she 3 or 4?
After the motorcycle accident.
Did it happen after? Okay, so it happened after the motorcycle accident. Then what you just said was inaccurate, sir, because the motorcycle accident didn't happen until she was 7 or 8 years old, which means that the entire, up to the point from 3 to 4 to 7 to 8, she was walking. All right, so you saw her walking at 8, then the wheelchair shows up, and then you don't see her walking again until you were in court, which is why your wife specifically said that we knew she could walk. But what Gypsy said in her testimony was, I always knew I could walk, and I always knew I was not sick. So if she testified to that, that is her admission to all of that. And if she is now saying that that's not true, then Rod, she committed perjury.
I don't think she's saying that's not true.
How do you not think she's saying that's not true?
I don't know.
I know. Rod, look, I could debate with you all day and I will run you in circles because I have all the evidence and I've done all the job, I've done all the work, and I am highly, highly educated in this and highly intelligent. I'm not trying to say that to talk down to you. I just think you're misinformed, and I think you've been misled by the women in your life. If you want to know really what happened, I will be happy to provide you with anything you want to look at, to understand. You don't have to talk to me. I have other people that I can pass this through to you. But if you're really interested in knowing why your daughter did this to protect your grandchild and your other family members, you really need to be more informed, sir. And I just would like to help you, Rod. I always wanted to help you. All I ever wanted to do was tell the truth.
Fancy, I am informed. I live this. Since Gypsy was born, I lived this.
But you said you didn't live this, Rod. You said that she was far away. You said that you never went to her doctor's appointments. You said you never saw her. However, we have quite a few pictures where I'm pretty sure you had a relationship with her for quite a long time.
I did. When she was younger, after they started moving away towards New Orleans and everything, I didn't see her at all for many years. But I remember her being.
And why is that, Rod? Why did you never go for visitation, Rod?
And I was busy working life. You know, we tried to make a trip when she was maybe 17, 18.
So you willfully did not participate in your daughter's life because you were working, and I get that. But sir, then you can't sit here and tell me that you lived it, because you didn't. You were offshore, and you have no idea what Dee Dee, nor Christy, nor Gypsy, nor any of the other family members were doing back home. You yourself have admitted that you never ever went to a doctor's appointment, not one time. You never questioned her. You never took her to court for anything except for the one time where you disputed some of the medical charges. I think she told you the truth, Rod, and I think you believed that because it was the truth. And I think now they are changing the narrative because it doesn't fit.
Fancy. She thought about killing her mom. That's
but why, Rod? Why? She started thinking about killing her mother all the way back to 2011, sir, when she shot her with a BB gun 10 times.
Yeah, because she wanted to get away from her, man.
For what reason, Rod? Why didn't she just leave? She was in 2011. She was over the age of 18. Why didn't she call you? Why didn't she just leave, Rod? She knew.
I don't know. I can't. She was probably scared shitless to get caught again, Fancy.
Rod, no, the cops never brought her home. Do you understand that? The cops have never been called to bring her home. She willfully walked out of Dan's roommate's house and went home with your wife because or with your ex-wife, because your ex-wife told her that she wanted the drugs that she stole, the money that she stole, and she told her if she returned home with her, she would go ahead and allow her to have the relationship with Dan. No police ever brought your daughter back. The only time that the police were ever involved was in 2009 when a nurse that worked for Dr. Steele supposedly called in a welfare check. 2 officers officers and 2 CPS workers went out to the home. They spoke to Gypsy. They saw an ID that proved that Gypsy was over the age of 18. Dee Dee provided them with medical records that showed that she did have some of the developmental delays and the actual physical ailments that she had. Gypsy told them that nothing was wrong, and Gypsy did not leave. They gave her the opportunity to leave that day, and she did not. She could have walked out of there with the police that day, and she chose to stay because she wanted to continue in the con, Rod. I'm sorry. The only time she decided it was no longer suiting to her and decided to unalive her mother is when her mom told her she could not be with boys. Men, lots of them, Rod, lots of them. We have
never
proof
thought
of
that
this.
the cops wouldn't get her or nothing. Dee Dee got her back home, and she was scared.
No,
that was her way.
She didn't have to go home with her, Rod. Why wouldn't she have just, why didn't she call the police that day? They would have come out and verified her ID.
I don't know. I can't answer that. That's a good
Exactly. You can't answer that. That's the problem. She had every opportunity to leave and she did not. So I do not believe that abuse is the motivating factor for the reason that she killed your wife. I believe that your ex-wife, there is many other reasons that we believe is a motivation for this, sir.
Well,
and I can show them to you. The investigators did not continue to investigate after your daughter took a plea deal. They were instructed by Dan Patterson to stop investigating. They already had a confession from her co-defendant. They did none of the investigating. And the officers in the case said that they were investigating a long financial fraud. And they were very upset that they did not get to take this to trial because they believed they had evidence to prove why this was done. And it had nothing to do with abuse. You and HBO, your wife, Gypsy, all changed that narrative, and you have lied to the public for not you specifically, I don't think, but your wife and your child have. Your daughter Mia even is calling her out in front of her. Can you not see the writing on the wall, Rod? She's a very disturbed girl and she needs help. You're denying that she has medical conditions. You're denying that it has anything to do, that she has any medical conditions related to the chromosome disorder. And do you understand, for the health of your grandchild, that is rather dangerous.
I don't think Gypsy has any medical conditions.
Rod, she has medical conditions. She's taking medications. She has conditions from this, Rod. They're proven in her medical records. What are you talking about?
She got a full checkup.
Rod, can I ask you a question? Can you please go to Rare Chromo? Please go to rarechromo.org, type in the microdeletion of the 1Q21.1 that she has, and look at the 11 or 12 page document that they have. If you do so, it lists every single one of Gypsy's conditions throughout her life as being part of this type of disorder, sir. And it has varying levels of degrees of severity, from no symptoms whatsoever, all the way up to a baby being born with severe microcephaly that cannot last outside of the womb for more than a few days. There are serious ramifications. And if you have not done genetic counseling, sir, you're not protecting your grandchildren. You're not protecting Mia's grandchildren. You're not protecting any of Dylan's children. And you're not protecting Nicolette's children. And you're not protecting Gypsy's children because you're choosing to be willfully ignorant. Just go get the counseling done, sir. I'm trying to save your grandchild's life.
Oh, God, Fancy, thank you so much.
Well, you can be a shithead about it, or you can actually go do the genetic counseling that was recommended to you several times. Your daughter even made a post that she feels that maybe she's a bad mom at this point right now because she didn't realize that it could be passed down. Well, you know who did know that it could be passed down? Your wife, because I told her that in 2019, and so did Titania.
Gypsy has a doctor that she's seeing about her baby.
What kind of doctor? No, is it a general?
I feel like this is getting extremely abusive, this conversation. I think it's getting out of hand. It's being, I think this is, it's an attack.
And go through her. We don't.
If
you guys want to have, if Rod and Fancy, if you guys want to have that conversation, I just feel like it's getting a little hot and you know what I mean? And I feel like without anything in front of Rod, we can't expect him to answer. You can't expect him to know or remember on the spot or so.
I agree with that. I agree.
It looks unfair to Rod, and so I'm going to call that.
Well, that's why I've repeatedly asked him to speak to me privately.
Right. If you guys want to have a private conversation, absolutely. I just
thank
feel
you for allowing me
to
to
prepared for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Rod, I'm serious. If you would like some information, please reach out to me. I will give you anything you need. I am not an enemy of you. I am not an enemy of your family. I simply want to tell the truthful story, sir. So if you would like to speak to me further, please, Rod. Christy has my phone number. You can call me. I've asked her to call me several times through Jasmine, and she did not, because I wanted to tell you this before I found out she was pregnant, because I got confirmation this year. Okay, I would like to have a further conversation with you, and I do agree that doing this without him being able to prepare himself is not okay. But I wanted to very much put into your head things to think about.
Fancy, I think we can have a conversation till you blue.
What'd you say?
I think we can have a conversation till you blue in the face. You're not going to change my belief, his motive.
Well, that's fine, Rod, but can you please agree to tell your wife and your child to stop harassing, stalking, and cyberbullying me? Because what I am bringing with facts and evidence.
Guys, I'm going to call. Yeah, I'm going to call.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, I'll step down.
If you don't mind, hi, Rod. My name is Jennifer. I just wanted to. I feel like earlier when Francie was explaining to
I
you
thought
the
Fancy was
Munchausen's,
doing a good job.
and the malingering, that maybe it wasn't explained to you what she was trying to say. When Munchausen by proxy, there's always a win in it for the abuser. You know, they make the person sick and then they get them better, and there's kind of this heroic thing that goes along with it. And I think what she was trying to get you to understand is that's not what wasn't Dee Dee's pattern. You know, to get Gypsy sick and then to get her better and be the hero and, you know, always running to the rescue. And I think that's where that, you know, the gray area is that we don't see here, that the malingering, that there was so much, and especially when Gypsy was older, that we feel like she was playing into a part to keep that going for financial gain, because, you know, the sicker she was, the more rewards came with it. So, you know, and there was a point where she did know that she could walk, her muscle tone, everything else, you know, it shows us that she was walking more than she was in a wheelchair. She was able to get up and leave anytime she wanted. She was able to probably walking around the house all the time because the wheelchair was not accessible with all the garbage and junk everywhere. That wheelchair was not being used inside. So I think that's where a lot of the doubt and question comes in. And Ivory's a nurse as well as I am. And you know, we haven't looked over everything 100%. We're very new to this chromosome deletion. But we have looked at a lot of other things. I think that's where the public gets that there's so much confusion with this, is we really do feel like it was a more malingering. And that's when, you know, two people are working together for the same goal because there's a goal at the end of it. You know, there's a win, there's a prize. And it seemed like that's what was happening.
And I think right now the public, with her continuing to financial gain off this whole crime, is again where the public is pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, you were all making money off of such a horrific, horrible thing that was, again, we feel like that whole story was a scam. Okay. And the fact that she's still doing it doesn't, you got to say, admit it though, Rod, it doesn't look good. No. It looks crappy. I mean, at least be honest though. It looks like she's still trying to gain off of all of this.
Right.
I get it. I get that. I mean, I don't think anybody should be making money or
off of a horrific thing. And I think that's where the public comes in and goes, you know, if it was a scam, all right, so I'm not even going to tell you if it was a scam, and there was obviously, even if she did have Munchausen's by proxy, and I don't think she did, but even if she did, there was still a scamming on Gypsy's part either way. She knew a lot more, and she admitted to knowing a lot more. So then here you are scamming people for profit, and then you come out of prison where people feel you didn't serve enough time for your
You're welcome. I know it's a lot because it's like,
and then you come out and then you're getting all this financial gain for being noted and being quote unquote famous as exactly that.
But I think he's going to walk out on all this shit.
And getting loaded off the fact that you did something horrible. And then honestly, it's practically getting away with it scot-free, because 8.5 years compared to the life plus 25 that the other person got. Do you see where the public feels like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it like it was just 8.5 years. I look at it like it was 33 years. You know, so I think.
That's how you see it, but not for the crime. For the crime, it was 8.5 years she served for the crime.
That's right.
No, not her victimization, but the crime. And then you have to understand, wasn't Nick also a victim of her? She manipulated him, Rod, 2 years. So it's not like Dee Dee was doing this and then she just snapped one day. She took in another person and plotted and planned it and groomed him to do it. So do you understand why the people, the public, are sitting there looking at you all like it's disgusting? You're all profiting off of one guy's in prison because he was manipulated for 2 years. And then
okay, so they made Fancy quit talking to him, and look how they're talking to him.
And she murdered somebody and sat for 8.5 years and then is out trying to act like I'm this great person, influencing the young all over social media. Do you see where the public's concerned? Still making the money.
And you know, Rod, how can you even say that there wasn't any acting in this? I mean, we have a video of her at Disney, you know, eating royal mashed potatoes. And literally 6 days later, she's on a video with Nick dressed up like Ruby, you know, talking about God knows what. You know, she was able to go from sick Gypsy to not sick Gypsy within hours. So that she absolutely was putting on an act for, you know, the public and somebody else behind closed doors. That's concerning when you can be those two completely separate people within hours of the other one. You know, in 1 minute she's in a wheelchair and she's a Disney princess eating mashed potatoes, and that night she's got her tatas hanging out with a red wig on talking about she's Ruby. And you know, I mean, you can't see that how the public sees that there was some performance on her part.
And then for your whole family to make money off of it, someone is dead, someone is gone, and someone will never come out of prison. Like, so for us to sit there and watch you all acting like we're some fancy, famous people, but 2 lives and more than that were affected and lost that day. And why should you guys get to celebrate? Why should she be out there celebrating like this and acting a fool with no humility and just acting like when she did this to people? Ultimately, she was the key card player. Do you understand? So you're like, why is the public picking on me? Get yourself out of the limelight. You want to have a quiet family life? Stop collecting money on the death of Dee Dee. Even if she did abuse Gypsy, you were all wrong. You're wrong for it. And the public doesn't appreciate it.
I'm curious what he has to say. I mean, how do you explain that, Rod, all of this? Do you understand?
I understand what y'all are saying. I understand it looks bad.
It is bad. It does not. It looks bad. It is bad.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
even if she was a victim of Munchausen by proxy, even if she was a victim, it is still not right for your family to be collecting off the death of Dee Dee Blanchard and the imprisonment of Nick Godejohn.
And the continual manipulation. I mean, we watched it on Lifetime for the past 5 months. I mean, you know, we watched her manipulate your family, Ryan. I mean, just, you know, it's crazy that it seems like she has not gotten any better. She is a master manipulator and a sociopath at best. You can sit back and watch this happen. And you seem like a really nice guy. Trust me, our hearts all go out to you. I think you are caught up in a mess that you don't know how to get yourself out of.
Can I say something on Christy's behalf, though? And I've said this, and anybody who watches my lives or videos know I've said this. So when you look at Mia, I don't see Dylan. I don't mention him just because he keeps private, and I will respect that. But when you see Mia on the show and you see her on, you know, she doesn't profit off of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so you kind of feel bad for her. You just all need to stop collecting money, stop collecting a payday on somebody's life imprisonment and death. It just makes you all look horrible. And then you all get upset when people talk about you. Well, people don't like you because of it. I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to be rude.
I only get upset when people are saying things that are untrue, in my opinion, that I know for sure is not true. Just like somebody said a while ago, Gypsy has a parole hearing. She doesn't. Okay? So, look.
And that's fine. But if you don't want people to say things that aren't true, again, take your family out of the spotlight. Take them away from the camera lens. Then people will not talk about them.
I mean, you're making money off of, no matter what, Dee Dee was the mother of your daughter. I mean, at one time you had to have cared about this woman, and your whole family is profiting off of her death, and a death that was committed by your daughter, who manipulated a kid that probably couldn't hardly barely tie his own shoes. And here, you know, she's flips around with Kim Kardashian and walking the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I mean, it's disgusting.
And then I'll give credit. You can tell you and Christy raised Mia and Dylan well. And I've said that, and everybody here who's on here has
unpopular opinion, very evil.
Christy wants to not look bad, but she just looks like she just wants the most benefit, and she just looks like a vindictive stepmother. You guys need to get out of the spotlight. You don't, and that may not be true. I'm not saying that's true, but I'm just saying, does she see? She needs to understand that from the public's view, that's what she makes herself look like. So this is doing you no benefit other than financial gain. And if you want to keep, you know, people are not going to stop talking about it. It's just it is what it is.
Man, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mia was raised properly. Gypsy was not. I believe she was a victim. I think she has a story to tell. I think she still has support. I think she is progressing, and we're part of that journey with her. We want to see
really, Rod. You can't even. You know what? I was with you up until there. I believe, and again, I'm with Fancy though. I believe that she wasn't parented right, and there was manipulation to Gypsy on the same part. But no, it's not because she has a story, Rod.
But now is the time where you could be that parent.
You can do for Gypsy if you loved your family is take them out of the spotlight. It looks like you don't care about. Christy doesn't care about Gypsy. Look what she did to her between the marriage and that's what we're seeing. And then we like you even less. And then we're going to continue talking. And then you're all getting upset. So again, take yourself out for a little bit, get her therapy, and then let her speak about her story. But we don't see a story. We see TV trash, and you're just getting money off of someone's death, and it looks horrible.
Okay,
and if you really cared how you look, then you would see that.
That's not how everyone sees it.
Oh, that's how the majority see it.
Well,
you're right.
Don't you see it that way, Rod?
She doesn't talk about her sickness or her victimization on the show. She's talking about men. Where in there is she helping anybody?
Yeah.
Where? I'm going to teach you how to go from a husband to a baby daddy real quick. Where is she advocating for anybody or showing a victim story in that? Come on. She's trying to catch her husband, pulling an Amber Heard, trying to catch her husband so she can look like a victim again. Where is she in there telling her story? What story?
Not once, never.
What did you expect her to come out and be perfect? Not make any mistakes?
I expect her to come out, get some therapy, and don't complain when you're going to act like trash on TV and then complain when people talk about you. She should be coming out. You want to talk about your story, then make the show about her story, not about her trashy love life that she can't handle. Right?
Nobody knows what her story is going to be. Nobody knew she was going to come out.
We just went through a whole season, and what's her story? You're right. So how can you say it's because she has a story and people are watching her? Because she has a story. She hasn't said anything about a story.
You say she wasn't raised right. Maybe
So
this
they're
is
just
the time
trying
you
to make
can
money
step
off of
in.
her trashy image, not because she has a story to tell. Now, if she actually sat down and said, "This is my story. This is who I'm trying to reach," maybe people would see it differently.
Hey, her life is her story right now. Yo,
That's disgusting.
And I'm gonna need you to seriously. Then
sorry,
you need to get her help. If that her life is the fact that she can't hold a marriage and that Christy's helping her get out of a marriage to have a baby daddy, like, do you understand that's what people see? That's a sad story, and that's nothing to be proud of. And then you complain when people are sitting there making up trashy rumors.
Christy,
what are you expecting?
Christy, what?
You're telling her now that I've seen the show and see how happy Gypsy is. Gypsy made a mistake by marrying Ryan. She thought she was going to come out and be happy and get over Ken. She didn't. She made a mistake.
So you think that how that all aired out was, proper conduct? I mean, come on.
No, I don't. I don't think.
So then where is her story? Where is the helping others? It was all about her messy relationships.
Manipulation. It was more just.
It was just showing us how she is a master manipulator. And it's making Christy look really bad.
The story's not over. Story's not over.
What story? You're right. Now there's a baby involved. And so there's a season 2. Again, we are the public. We are watching. You may be living a different story, but I'm going to tell you the story the public sees.
I have no control of the show happening or not happening.
So then you understand though? Again, it's ultimately going to come down to people are going to talk shit if you're going to hang yourself in front of the camera. That's ultimately what it is. You can defend it all you want. It's not going to stop until you get yourself out of the spotlight.
And Rod, you said earlier that Gypsy didn't have somebody to rear her right. Maybe this is your chance to
I
step
know,
up and be a
Scout,
father
poor guy.
and guide her in the right direction and put your foot down and be like, look, this is not right. This is not right. This is what you need to do. I mean, we get that she was living behind closed doors for 23 years of her life and doesn't have a lot of life experience. So maybe this is your time to shine and be her father and guide her in the right direction.
And think about your other children who've got to be associated with this whole mess.
Say what, Ron?
Like, honestly, my heart goes out to Mia. Because it looks bad on her. The poor girl didn't do nothing. She had no play in it.
Which I want me to treat her like she's 12 years old and, really make her clean her room and tell her she can't have social media. And
I have adult children, Rod. I have a lot of adult children. Okay. But no, you should sit them down. And I would never let my daughter just sit there and stop out. You got married. You have honor. That was a vow. So you should try to work on it before I just go ahead and bring your ex in to have a baby with. You teach them right and wrong. You should not be showing, you want to be an influencer. You should not be showing people on TV you think that's right.
Well, I know what it's like to be in love with somebody else. I know what it's like to be in a marriage that it's not there. Okay. So it's not right. I agree. I made a mistake getting married to her mom. She made a mistake getting married to Ryan. That's the story. People want to see it. Lifetime want to pay money for it.
Thank you. So you just proved my point. Lifetime wants to pay money for it. End of discussion. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, you just really told us exactly where you stand on this. And you know what? Hopefully in season 2.
Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt when people talk crap because you're dangling the trashiness in front of the camera. I have nothing left to say about that.
I'm not hurt when you're talking trash. I'm hurt when somebody says something that's not true. You can talk trash all you want. You can call us a bad parent. I wasn't there. Christy's a manipulator.
No, there's only certain lies that I tell you like and certain you don't. What makes this lie any different than the rest of my lies?
Any other stuff you said apart from the cops came to my house. You say
you're okay with me lying about everything else except for that? Okay.
Well, look, a lot of the other stuff is so silly. Like Christy sleeping with Ken. Who's gonna believe that? Okay. Now, cops coming to my house, me leaving Christy. Yeah, that's probably believable. Ken being gay. Ken went on there and defended that. He's not gay. I mean, he doesn't have a grinder or whatever.
Listen, at the end of the day, you're in it to make money. And what is more important to you? How you look in your self-respect or the money? That's completely up to you. That's not up to me. I control me, but I don't control the other billion people on the app or on the television or in magazines or that are reading these magazines. So ultimately, it just depends on what's more important to you, self-respect or money. Because you're choosing money. No. You are choosing money. And therefore, this comes with it. You don't like the lies. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You can defend them, but it doesn't mean we're not going to stop pushing them.
Hey, Rod, I've got one question. Rod, I've got one question for you.
Wait, I'm sorry, you said keep pushing them what?
I said keep pushing them, and I'll keep defending them.
All right, then. I'll see you next week.
Rod, I've got one question before you go, and I'm going to be totally respectful. I just want to know one thing. You know how you just said before that you're coming on to defend this, but everything else you guys say you don't care about. Now, we've been speaking in here a lot about the fact that we have opinions, not fact, but opinions that Gypsy helped with the murder of Dee Dee. And you haven't come in here to defend that, but you're defending this. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I don't have all the information that the prosecutors had, so I can't speak on whether she was there or not. I saw Nick say she was in the bathroom. I heard Gypsy say she was in the bathroom. I heard Nick say he stabbed her 4 times, and then blah blah blah. And then he kept on. So I don't think Gypsy.
So you got to believe what you hear.
Opinion, okay? Y'all can make your own opinions on.
So you believe what you hear, and I believe the information that I heard, and so we're all safe to say we're in the same boat.
Okay, yeah.
Because none of us have proof of anything. We're all just believing what we hear.
That's why I haven't come on to say anything about that. That information is out there. A lot of it's opinion based. The prosecutors had the information, and I can't defend that because I don't know for sure. Gypsy told me she wasn't there, but I don't have proof of that 100%. So I'm not going to defend that. I'll tell you my opinion. My opinion is she stayed in the bathroom. Nick did what he did, and then they did their thing after. Whatever.
At the end of the day, though, Rod, I give you respect. Hold on. At the end of the day, Rod, though, I give you respect for defending your story and your wife, and I really do. I do. Unfortunately, even if I stop, it's not going to stop the other billion people. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can stop today, but it's not going to stop at all.
I get that. I mean, that's fine. You want to keep, talking about the story, her story, whether it's true, whether it's lie, whether the rumor coming out tomorrow is true or not.
You just got to understand the public is pissed off.
I get it. I don't really want to do another show. I didn't want to do the second show. This is Gypsy's choice. She's living in my home. She chose to do this show. What am I going to do? Kick her out of my home?
No, counsel her. Counsel her how it's a bad decision.
I gotta support my daughter.
And
there's a difference between support.
And she can get a job.
There's a difference between support and just aiding and abetting her to. I mean, obviously she needs help because you said yourself she doesn't have that life experience.
Yeah,
so you just
unfortunately,
her do what she should do without. You need to counsel her.
It's sad.
She needs to
discourage her. She doesn't need to make choices on her own yet. She doesn't know how, you just said.
No, she doesn't know how, Rod. She needs your guidance. And, we've all sat here and said, we think you have done a beautiful job raising your other children. They seem like really great kids.
Absolutely.
We have given you that applause the whole time. And it looks like you have been a wonderful father. And we hope that we can see that if there's another season. I hope to see you being that father to Gypsy because I think that's who she needs. And she needs somebody to guide her and help her with life lessons. Yes, you have to let her live her life, but she needs parents. She needs guidance. She's never had that. So my final thing to you is if I could see anything, I hope I see more of that. I hope I see you being more involved in guiding her in the right direction. I hope I see her going in the right direction because it seems like you've done a wonderful job with the other ones. So for that, I applaud you. And I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us. And I know it's not easy to do this and you get a lot of shit from everybody, but I know it takes a lot of guts to come on here and hear all this. But that's really all I have left to say.
I do. I appreciate it. And I agree with Jen, what she just said. I've said it before. Even on here, you guys did a beautiful job with your children. I just hope you continue that job with Gypsy because it doesn't look like it's happening. But I really hope.
I work half the year. I'm going. We have internet. I talk to them every day and this and that. But I have to let Gypsy make some choices and learn from her mistakes. I didn't think it was a good idea if she married Ryan. She called and asked me. I said, Gypsy, it's gonna work. Y'all are really in love with each other and you love them with all your heart. Y'all gonna have some problems, but y'all gonna make it. Christy and I made it over 30 years. We've been through some shit. But we loved each other enough to stay. I figured that was a mistake on her part. But here we are now. It wasn't the most terrible mistake she's ever going to make. Hopefully she learned from it. Hopefully she decides if she marries Ken that she's really in love with him and sticks with it.
Out the guilt, yes.
Sure? It's probably a mistake. We're probably never going to get out the spotlight. She's always going to be known for what she did. She's going to realize that one day. That doesn't mean I can't support her bad decisions and let her learn from them. That's the only way I know how to parent. I'm not a control freak. I'm not getting her over here and going to tell her everything she can and can't do or get on her ass about making every bad choice. If she makes a bad choice, it's not the worst choice in the world. It's not super consequential. Let her learn. She's got to learn.
These are super consequential decisions she's making that are bad. You do see that, right? Like there's a baby going to be affected with all this. Like think about that.
Hey, it might be a beautiful baby.
I'm not saying it won't be.
We know it's going to be a beautiful baby.
I'm talking about like coming into the mess of daddy. I'm not going to sit here and break down your parenting. I'm just saying, like, guys, it's a mess, and people are getting pissed. And again, ultimately, it comes down to the fact that people are pissed that you all look like you worry about just money. You're all making a dime off of Dee Dee's death and Nick's imprisonment. And then you're acting like you want to advocate and tell stories, but yet there's yet to be a story. There's been documentaries and there's been a season of this already and nothing's ever been mentioned. So you got to understand people are going to talk crap about you because they don't like you.
I get it. And there's going to be people that's going to support her. And we thank y'all for the support. If she does have support, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have haters. I know it. Y'all do y'all
Just be
thing.
careful because her history of mistakes get really bad. So you got to be careful. What's to say she's not going to make that mistake again?
I don't think she's going to be in a situation where she has to even consider harming anybody in any way.
I'm just saying, like, to what extent do we let the bad mistakes, you know what I mean, pile up? That was my point.
Yeah, I get it. You know, I don't know. I made some pretty bad mistakes, and I pulled myself out the hole. I'm still digging myself out the hole, I guess. But you know, I have good times. I have a family. I got kids that love me. My mom loves me. Everybody, you know, respects me to some extent. So we're hoping we can break the mold with Gypsy and just what she's come up from, and just, you know, recreate her to somebody that can make good, beautiful, sound decisions on her own, and just trying to do the best we can with that.
God bless.
All right. Well, I hear that.
All right. Well, I'm going to play my guitar. Y'all have a good night.
I think Rod is really this naive. He's obviously a yes man, a pushover, or Christy wouldn't be with him, just like Ken. He believes what the people around him has told him. And he has some guilt because he wasn't in Gypsy's life as much as he probably wanted to be or should have been. And I actually believe he is this naive, and he really believes what he's saying. And he believes Gypsy, he believes Christy, he believes them all. He's not a strong, independent man like Ron. They can control Ken, they can control Rod. They're yes men. And that's very obvious. He believes what the people around him has been telling him all this time and still telling him. And he's definitely a yes man to Gypsy because he feels that guilt and he wants to make up for lost time and be the father that he hadn't been. And he's this naive, and it's really sad. Right, Snacks? And this is not going to end well. And, you know, people's like, well, they can't send her back to jail for, you know, Red Rum, whatever, double jeopardy. But no, I think more's going to come out to this, and she's going to fuck up again. And I hope Nick has some stuff that he hasn't told yet, because he's been speaking out and his dad's been speaking out some, and it's interesting. And there's another part to this I'm fixing to play. That was the end of this one, but if there even is a baby Snacks, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yep, Snacks, he sure is. When Gypsy got out of prison, they should have never just let her free like they did. They should have sent her to a halfway house or something. This just, this ain't good. Okay, here is part 2 we're gonna watch.
In a way.
I don't know. I just feel like, why is that though?
Yeah.
Like, what's blowing my mind is, like, again, of all the rumors, of all the rumors that are out there.
Yeah.
Rod having left Christy or left the house. Like, no one's saying there was divorce. No one's saying any of that. Just that he left.
Right.
Like, they got you know, something wasn't right between the two of them, and he left.
It sounded better Rod being in the box than Christy, because Rod is more like than Christy.
Being at the house are the two things that are just, they're gonna die for now to
right.
You know what I mean? Like, of everything that has been said.
Right. 100%.
I don't, somebody explain to me why.
Yeah, that's the fight he decided to fight.
Why?
You know what I mean?
You know, like, unless there's more to it and they're trying to shut it up, why is that the one thing you're willing to die for? And not even that though, but it's like, I don't know. It just blows my mind that, again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It seems so odd of all the things that he's going to get up there and debunk. It's that,
And
you
again,
know?
if I'm just a liar and everything I say is lies, and I've spread all of these rumors that were never proven and all of this stuff, why am I bothering you?
Right.
Why are you going to come argue, or not argue? He was very polite though, but why are you going to come, again, come and defend yourself to me?
Yeah.
Because who am I then? Apparently just a liar.
Yeah, but that's why Christy would have sent Rod in.
Yeah.
Because Rod's a nice guy. He's got a nice demeanour about him and stuff. The best person to clean up this rumour was Rod. If Christy had came in here, it would have looked stupid. But him coming in here,
I still don't understand why do we have to clear up this rumor so fast? Of all of the things.
Yeah.
Of all of the things, guys. We've been there's rumors about her being in bars on parole. There's rumors about and again, those are rumors. It is what it is. They're rumors. I'm not going to lie. Those are rumors, okay? So there's so many rumors out there. We've heard them all. Everything from, her rumors with her own rumors and then our rumors. There's just massive rumors out there. But why is this the one thing, again, you can't let go unless it's something that if we keep talking about it, you don't want somebody who doesn't need to know to find out.
Yeah,
that's 100%. The only
100%.
reason is the fact that we're not letting it go. And every day people are asking what happened with that. And the fact that we're not letting it go because it's been how many days now, guys?
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And, with them being on TV, and I've dealt with this, even in the comments the other night, people were coming after me about things with the Cajun Navy. And we've always been told, you don't fight a lie because you're never going to win it anyway. So you just ignore people when they come, when they come at you with bullshit. You don't fight it back on it because you really can't ever win. You don't fight a lie. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, why would he even get up there, and why would their PR team allow him to get up there and try to fight something so silly? You know what I mean? If it wasn't true.
That's, and yeah. I'm not understanding.
He was explaining to the Munchausens by proxy and the malingering that maybe it wasn't explained to what she was trying to say. When Munchausen by proxy, there's always a win in it for the abuser. They make the person sick and then they get them better. And there's kind of this heroic thing that goes along with it. And I think what she was trying to get you to understand is that's not what wasn't Dee Dee's pattern, to get Gypsy sick and then to get her better and be the hero and always running to the rescue. And I think that's where the gray area is that we don't see here, that the malingering, that there was so much and especially when Gypsy was older, that we feel like she was playing into a part to keep that going for financial gain because, the sicker she was, the more rewards came with it. So, and there was a point where she did know that she could walk, her muscle tone, everything else, it shows us that she was walking more than she was in a wheelchair. She was able to get up and leave anytime she wanted. She was able to probably walking around the house all the time because the wheelchair was not accessible with all the garbage and junk everywhere. That wheelchair was not being used inside. So I think that's where a lot of the doubt and question comes in. And Ivory's a nurse as well as I am. And we haven't looked over everything 100%. We're very new to this chromosome deletion. But we have looked at a lot of other things. I think that's where the public gets that there's so much confusion with this, is we really do feel like it was a more malingering. And that's when, two people are working together for the same goal because there's a goal at the end of it. There's a win, there's a prize. And it seemed like that's what was happening.
And I think right now the public, with her continuing to financial gain off this whole crime, is, again, where the public is pissed off.
Yeah.
You were all making money off of such a horrific, horrible thing that was, again, we feel like that whole story was a scam. Okay? And the fact that she's still doing it doesn't, you got to say, admit it though, Rod, it doesn't look good. No. It looks crappy. at least be honest, though. It looks like she's still trying to gain off of all of this.
Right.
I get it. I get that. I don't think anybody should be making money or
off of a horrific thing. And I think that's where the public comes in and goes, if it was a scam, all right? So I'm not even going to tell you if it was a scam, and there was obviously, even if she did have Munchausen's by proxy, and I don't think she did, but even if she did, there was still a scamming on Gypsy's part either way. She knew a lot more, and she admitted to knowing a lot more. So then here you are scamming people for profit, and then you come out of prison where people feel you didn't serve enough time for your crime, and rightfully so. And then you come out and then you're getting all this financial gain for being noted and being quote unquote famous as exactly that. And so the people are pissed off, like you're dancing around here and getting loaded off the fact that you did something horrible. And then honestly, it's practically getting away with it scot-free, because 8.5 years compared to the life plus 25 that the other person got. Do you see where the public feels like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it like it was just 8.5 years. I look at it like it was 33 years. You know,
Okay.
so I think.
Okay, that's how you see it, but not for the crime. For the crime, it was 8.5 years she served for the crime.
That's right.
Now, not her victimization, but the crime. And then you have to understand, wasn't Nick also a victim of her? She manipulated him, Rod, 2 years. So it's not like Dee Dee was doing this and then she just snapped one day. She took in another person and plotted and planned it and groomed him to do it. So do you understand why the people, the public, are sitting there looking at you all like it's disgusting? You're all profiting off of one guy's in prison because he was manipulated for 2 years, and then she murdered somebody and sat for 8.5 years, and then is out trying to act like I'm this great person, influencing the young all over social media. Do you see where the public's concerned? Still making the money.
And you know, Rod, how can you even say that there wasn't any acting in this? I mean, we have a video of her at Disney, you know, eating royal mashed potatoes, and literally 6 days later, she's on a video with Nick dressed up like Ruby, you know, talking about God knows what. You know, she was able to go from sick gypsy to not sick gypsy within hours. So she absolutely was putting on an act for, you know, the public and somebody else behind closed doors. That's concerning when you can be those two completely separate people within hours of the other one. You know, in 1 minute she's in a wheelchair and
I don't think understand. So you're like, why is the public picking on me? Get yourself out of the limelight. You want to have a quiet family life? Stop collecting money on the death of Dee Dee. Even if she did abuse Gypsy, you were all wrong. You're wrong for it. And the public doesn't appreciate it.
I'm curious what he has to say. I mean, how do you explain that, Rod, all of this? Do you understand?
I understand what y'all are saying. I understand it looks bad.
It is bad. It does not look bad. It is bad.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
even
no
if
matter
she was
what,
a victim of Munchausen by proxy, even if she was a victim, it is still not right for your family to be collecting off the death of Dee Dee Blanchard and the imprisonment of Nick Godejohn.
And the continual manipulation. I mean, we watched it on Lifetime for the past 5 months. I mean, you know, we watched her manipulate your family, Ryan. I mean, just, you know, it's crazy that it seems like she has not gotten any better. She is a master manipulator and a sociopath at best. You can sit back and watch this happen. And you seem like a really nice guy. Trust me, our hearts all go out to you.
Hey, Nana's love. Hope you are good.
You don't know how to get yourself out.
Can I say something on Christy's behalf, though? And
Good to
I've said
see
this,
you.
and anybody who watches my lives or videos know I've said this. So when you look at me, I don't see Dylan. I don't mention him just because he keeps private, and I will respect that. But when you see Mia on the show and you see her on, you know, she doesn't profit off of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not.
And so you kind of feel bad for her. You guys, you just all need to stop collecting money, stop collecting a payday on somebody's life imprisonment and death. It just makes you all look horrible. And then you all get upset when people talk about you. Well, people don't like you because of it. I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to be rude. People don't like you.
I only get upset when people are saying things that are untrue, in my opinion, that I know for sure is not true. Just like somebody said a while ago, Gypsy has a parole hearing. She doesn't. Okay? So Look,
And that's fine. But if you don't want people to say things that aren't
No,
true,
but she's
again,
probably going to have
take
a
your
parole
family
hearing.
out of the spotlight. Take them away from the camera lens. Then people will not talk about them.
I mean, you're making money off of, no matter what. Dee Dee was the mother of your daughter. I mean, at one time, you had to have cared about this woman, and your whole family is profiting off of her death, and a death that was committed by your daughter, who manipulated a kid that probably couldn't hardly barely tie his own shoes. And here, she's flips around with Kim Kardashian and walking the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I mean, it's disgusting.
And then I'll give credit. You can tell you and Christy raised Mia and Dylan well. And I've said that, and everybody here who's on here has heard me say that. The problem is Christy wants to not look bad, but she just looks like she just wants the most benefit, and she just looks like a vindictive stepmother. You guys need to get out of the spotlight. You don't, and that may not be true. I'm not saying that's true, but I'm just saying, does she see? She needs to understand that from the public's view, that's what she makes herself look like. So this is doing you no benefit other than financial gain. And if you want to keep, people are not going to stop talking about it. It's it is what it is.
Man, can I say
Only
something?
if there's new evidence, Nicole, but not the original crime. No, it's double jeopardy.
Gypsy was not. I believe she was a victim. I think she has a story to tell. I think she still has support. I think she is progressing, and we're part of that journey with her. You want to see
Really,
it.
Rod, you can't even, you know what? I was with you up until there. I believe, and again, I'm with Nancy though. I believe that, she wasn't parented right, and there was manipulation to Gypsy on the same part. But no, it's not because she has a story, Rod.
But now is the time where you could be that
you
parent.
can do for Gypsy if you loved your family is take them out of the spotlight. It looks like you don't care about. Christy doesn't care about Gypsy. Look what she did to her between the marriage and that's what we're seeing. And then we like you even less. And then we're going to continue talking. And then you're all getting upset. So again, take yourself out for a little bit, get her therapy, and then let her speak about her story. But we don't see a story. We see TV trash, and you're just getting money.
You're welcome.
Someone's death. And it looks horrible.
I agree, Nikki.
Okay,
and if you really cared how you look, then you would see that.
That's not how everyone sees it.
Oh, that's how the majority see it.
Well,
yeah, that's interesting.
Don't you see it that way, Rod?
Right, Nana's love.
She doesn't talk about her sickness or her victimization on the show. She's talking
a
about
master
men.
manipulator.
Where in there is she helping anybody?
Yeah.
Where? I'm going to teach you how to go from a husband to a baby daddy real quick. Where is she advocating for anybody or showing a victim story in that? Come on. She's trying to catch her husband, pulling an Amber Heard, trying to catch her husband so she can look like a victim again. Where is she?
Because there was no Munchausen, just like that we heard earlier. Dee Dee was not diagnosed with Munchausen. If all this was true, Gypsy could have got out of prison if she was really abused like she claims she was, which we know she wasn't, just by her medical records, in my opinion, because they were both in on the scam. She could have been a huge advocate for the Munchausen community and Munchausen by proxy. She could really have made a difference in a good way. But like we've heard earlier, when they was talking to Rod on the other one we watched, all she's worried about is a man getting out here being a whore and Lifetime series and this and that. And, that's all she's worried about. She don't ever talk about Munchausen or, advocate for it or anything. Never. It's all about her.
She in there telling her story. What story?
Not once, never.
What did you expect her to come out and be perfect? Not make any mistakes?
I expect her to come out, get some therapy, and don't complain when you're going to act like trash on TV and then complain when people talk about you. She should be coming out. You want to talk about your story, then make the show about her story, not about her trashy love life that she can't handle. Right?
Nobody knows what her
Hey,
story
Stevens Adventures, how are you?
We just went through a whole season, and what's her story? You're right. So how can you say it's because she has a story and people are watching her? Because she has a story. She hasn't said anything about a story.
You say she wasn't raised right. Maybe this
they're just trying to make money off of her trashy image, not because she has a story to tell. Now, if she actually sat down and said, "This is my story. This is who I'm trying to reach," maybe people would see it differently.
Hey, her life is her story right now. Y'all.
It's disgusting.
And I'm gonna need you to seriously. Then
sorry,
we need to get her help. If that her life is the fact that she can't hold a marriage and that Christy's helping her,
She needs to be in
a baby daddy.
facility.
Like, do you understand? That's what people see. That's a sad story, and that's nothing to be proud of. And then you complain when people are sitting there making up trashy rumors.
Christy,
what are you expecting?
Christy, what?
You're telling her, now that I've seen the show and see how happy Gypsy is, Gypsy made a mistake by marrying Ryan. She thought she was.
So many hundreds of thousands of us see the same thing and are saying the same thing about this. We all cannot be wrong or just delusional.
Was going to come out and be happy and get over Ken. She didn't. She made a mistake.
So you think that how that all aired out was, I mean, proper conduct? I mean, come on.
No, I don't. I don't think it
So
was.
then where is her story? Where is the helping others? It was all about her messy relationships.
Manipulation. It was just more.
It was just showing us how she is a master manipulator.
Nana's
And
love,
it's
I don't
making
think
Christy
she
look
is.
really bad.
The story's not over. Story's not over.
What story? You're
Now
right.
we just
Now
get to
there's a
watch
baby involved. And so there's a season 2. Again,
I heard
we
she's
are
only
public.
taking
We are
counseling
watching.
over Zoom calls,
You may
not
be
even
living
in
a different
person.
story, but I'm going to tell you the story the public sees.
I have no control of the show happening or not happening.
So then do you understand though? Again, it's ultimately going to come down to people are going to talk shit if you're going to hang yourself in front of a camera. That's ultimately what it is. You can defend it all you want. It's not going to stop until you get yourself out of the spotlight.
And Rod, you said earlier that Gypsy didn't have somebody to rear her right. Maybe this is your chance to step up and be a father and guide her in the right direction and put your foot down.
Show
and be
some
like,
tough
"Look, this is
love,
not
man.
right. This is not right. This is what you need to do." I mean, we get that she was living behind closed doors for 23 years of her life and doesn't have a lot of life experience. But maybe this is your time to shine and be her father and guide her in the right direction.
And
bingo
your
snack.
other children who've got to be
And she's doing the
associated with
bare
this whole
minimum.
mess.
Say what, Rod?
Like, honestly, my heart goes out to Mia.
So what?
Because it looks bad on her. The poor girl didn't do nothing. She had no play in it.
Which I want me to treat her like she's 12 years old and, really make her clean her room and tell her she can't.
Yes, I would.
I have adult children, Rod. I have a lot of adult children, okay? But no, you should sit them down. And I would never let my daughter just sit there and stop. You got married.
Me too,
You had
Nana's love.
honor.
It's sad
was
that
a
baby's
vow.
the one that's going to pass.
So you should try to work on it before I just go ahead and bring your ex in to have a baby with. You teach them right and wrong. You should not be showing, you want to be an influencer, you should not be showing people on TV you think that's right.
Well, I know what it's like to be in love with somebody else. I know what it's like to be in a marriage that you just, it's not there. Okay? So it's not right. I agree. I made a mistake getting married to her mom. She made a mistake getting married to Ryan. That's the story. People want to see it. Lifetime want to pay money for it.
Thank you. So you just proved my point. Lifetime wants to pay money for it. End of discussion. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, you just really told us exactly where you stand on this. And you know what? Hopefully in season 2.
Get hurt. Don't get hurt when people talk crap because you're dangling the trashiness in front of the camera. I have nothing left to say about that.
I'm not hurt when you're talking trash. I'm hurt when somebody says something that's not true. You can talk trash all you want. You can call us a bad parent. I wasn't there. Christy's a manipulator.
No, there's only certain.
Christy is a manipulating, trashy bitch.
You don't. What makes this life any different than the rest of my lives?
About any other stuff you said apart from the cops came to my house. You're saying why is
you're okay with me lying about everything else except for that? Okay.
Well, look, a lot of the other stuff is so silly, like Christy sleeping with Ken. Who's gonna believe that? Okay, now cops coming to my house, me leaving Christy. Yeah, that's probably believable. Ken being gay, Ken went on there and defended that. He's not gay. I mean, he doesn't have a grinder or whatever.
Listen, at the end of the day, you're in it to make money. And what is more important to you? How you look in your self-respect or the money? That's completely up to you. That's not up to me. I control me, but I don't control the other. billion people on the app or on the television or in magazines or that are reading these magazines. So ultimately, it just depends on what's more important to you, self-respect or money. Because
the most important
you're choosing money. No. You are choosing money, and therefore this comes with it. This comes with it. You don't like the lies? I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You can defend them, but it doesn't mean we're not going to stop pushing them.
Hey, Rod, I've got one question. Rod, I've got one question for you.
Wait, I'm going to be. I'm sorry, you said keep pushing them what?
I said keep pushing them, and I'll keep defending them.
Then all right, then I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Rod, I've got one question before you go, and I'm going to be totally respectful. I just want to know one thing. You know how you just said before that you're coming on to defend this, but everything else you guys say you don't care about. Now, we've been speaking in here a lot about the fact that we have opinions, not fact, but opinions that Gypsy helped with the murder of Dee Dee. And you haven't come in here to defend that, but you're defending this. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I don't have all the information that the prosecutors had. So I can't speak on whether she was there or not. I saw Nick say she was in the bathroom. I heard Gypsy say she was in the bathroom. I heard Nick say he stabbed her 4 times and then blah, blah, blah. And then he kept on. So I don't think.
Then why was there 17 stab wounds?
Okay, y'all can make y'all own opinions on.
So you believe what you hear, and I believe the information that I heard. And so we're all safe to say we're in the same boat.
Okay, yeah.
Because none of us have proof of anything. We're all just believing what we hear.
That's why I haven't come on to say anything about that. That information is out there. A lot of it's opinion based. The prosecutors had the information. And, I can't defend that because I don't know for sure. Gypsy told me she wasn't there, but I don't have proof of that 100%. So I'm not going to defend that. I'll tell you my opinion. My opinion is she stayed in the bathroom. Nick did what he did. And then they did their thing after, whatever,
At the end of the day,
I agree,
Rod,
Scout. Right, Todd.
Hold on. At the end of the day, Rod, though, I give you respect for defending your story and your wife. And I really do. I do. Unfortunately, even if I stop, it's not going to stop the other billion people. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can stop today, but it's not going to stop at all.
I get that. I mean, that's fine. You want to keep talking about the story, her story, whether it's true, whether it's lie, whether the rumor coming out tomorrow is true or not.
You just got to understand the public is pissed off.
I get it. I don't really want to do another show. I didn't want to do the second show. This is Gypsy's choice. She's living in my home. She chose to do this show. What am I going to do? Kick her out of my home?
No, counsel her. Counsel her how it's a bad decision.
I gotta support my daughter.
And you know what? That's so
between
respectable.
Support.
And she can get a job.
There's a difference between support and just aiding and abetting her. Obviously she needs help because you said yourself she doesn't have that life experience. So you just letting her do what she should do without. You need to counsel her.
She needs to
discourage her. She doesn't need to make choices on her own yet. She doesn't know how, you just said.
No, she doesn't know how, Rod. She needs your guidance. And, we've all sat here and said, we think you have done a beautiful job raising your other children. They seem like really great kids.
Absolutely.
We have given you that applause the whole time. And you have been, it looks like you have been a wonderful father. And we hope that we can see that if there's another season. I hope to see you being that father to Gypsy because I think that's who she needs. And she needs somebody to guide her and help her with life lessons. Yes, you have to let her live her life, but she needs parents. She needs guidance. She's never had that. So my final thing to you is if I could see anything, I hope I see more of that. I hope I see you being more involved in guiding her in the right direction. I hope I see her going in the right direction because it seems like you've done a wonderful job with the other ones. So for that, I applaud you. And I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us tonight. I know it's not easy to do this and you get a lot of shit from everybody, but I know it takes a lot of guts to come on here and hear all this, but that's really all I have left to say.
I do, Rod. I appreciate it. And I agree with Jen, what she just said. I've said it before, even on here, you guys did a beautiful job with your children. I just hope you continue that job with Gypsy. because it doesn't look like it's
I'm doing
happening,
my
but I really
best.
hope.
I work half the year. I'm going. You know, we have internet. I talk to them every day and this and that, but I have to let Gypsy make some choices and learn from her mistakes. I didn't think it was a good idea if she married Ryan. She called and asked me. I said, Gypsy, it's gonna work if y'all are really in love with each other and you love them with all your heart. Y'all gonna have some problems, but y'all gonna make it. Christy and I made it over 30 years. We've been through some shit, but we loved each other enough to stay. I figured that was a mistake on her part, but here we are now. It wasn't the most terrible mistake she's ever going to make. Hopefully she learned from it. Hopefully she decides if she marries Ken that she's really in love with him and sticks with him. You know, the show, it's probably a mistake. We're probably never going to get out the spotlight. She's always going to be known for what she did. She's going to realize that one day. That doesn't mean I can't support some of her bad decisions and let her learn from them. That's the only way I know how to parent. I'm not a control freak. I'm not getting her over here and going to tell her everything she can and can't do or get on her ass about making every bad choice. If she makes a bad choice, it's not the worst choice in the world. It's not super consequential. Let her learn. She's got to learn.
These are super consequential decisions she's making that are bad. You do see that, right? Like there's a baby going to be affected with all this. Like think about that.
Hey, it might be a beautiful baby.
I'm not saying it won't be.
We
Absolutely.
know it's going to be a beautiful
I'm
baby.
talking about like coming into the mess of daddy, man. I'm not going to sit here and break down your parenting. I'm just saying, like, guys, it's a mess and people are getting pissed. And again, ultimately, it comes down to the fact that people are pissed that you all look like you're worried about just money. You're all making a dime off of Dee Dee's death and Nick's imprisonment. And then you're acting like you want to advocate and tell stories, but yet there's yet to be a story. There's been documentaries and there's been a season of this already and nothing's ever been mentioned. So you got to understand people are going to talk crap about you because they don't like you.
I get it. And there's going to be people that's going to support her. And we thank y'all for the support. If she does have support, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have haters. I know it. Y'all do y'all thing.
Just be careful because her history of mistakes get really bad. So you got to be careful. What's to say she's not going to make that mistake again?
I don't think she's going to be in a situation where she has to even consider harming anybody in any way. I'm
just saying, like, to what extent do we let the bad mistakes, you know what I mean, pile up? That was my point.
Yeah, I get it. You know, I don't know. I made some pretty bad mistakes and I pulled myself out the hole. I'm still digging myself out the hole, I guess. But you know, I have good times. I have a family. I got kids that love me. My mom loves me. Everybody, you know, respects me to some extent. So we're hoping we can break the mold with Gypsy and just what she's come up from, and just recreate her to somebody that can make good, beautiful, sound decisions on her own, and just trying to do the best we can with that.
God bless.
All right. Well, I hear that.
All right. Well, I'm going to play my guitar.
All right.
Go have a good evening, Rod. It was nice talking to you.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hold on.
Yeah, Nana's love. I think she used Ron to get out of prison. You know, as a place to go because he has a good job. He's a stable, independent man. You know, and this is a shit show. She's gonna go back to prison. I feel it, and I feel. This is just begun, I feel. She thought she could get out here and keep playing this little pity card with the Munchausen bullshit. She didn't think people would get her medical records and see that every procedure she ever had done, she had to have done because she was legit diagnosed with something and she had to have these surgeries and procedures and everything. It didn't go as planned for her. Yup, Nana's love Ken, and he's a little, pick me guy, and he's in it for the fame, and It's, oh my God. That poor baby. She has 11 months left on parole. I think she got 10 years. I don't think he loves her either like she does him. I think he's seen the fame she was getting when she got out, and he wanted part of that clout. And Christy, you know, agging it on and shit. Because they couldn't control Ron. He's a special education teacher, you know, and Ken don't even work. It's just sad. That poor baby. And even her dad just listening to him, you know, he's just so naive to this. And he's just been told so much shit and just believes everybody around him. Poor guy, you know, and he probably feels that guilt from not being there in Gypsy's life like he should have. And he probably always has these what ifs. What if I'd done this? It'd been different, or, you know, and it's probably eating him alive and he don't know what to do. He wants to believe his family, and it makes it really hard to feel anything for Gypsy because of how she's done, you know? She could, like I said, she could have made a huge difference in this world with the Munchausen stuff, but she hasn't done nothing with it because it's not true. Yes, Nana, we all do have those what ifs, and we all know they will eat you alive sometimes, you know, and you know he has them too, and it's wild. And it's like every day something new comes out, it gets worse and worse, and they all need to get off the internet for one. You know, they all need to get off the internet and get it together and do something. And Gypsy's only doing her Zoom therapy stuff or whatever. And like I said earlier, it's only because it's probably part of her parole. And she should have never got just released into the real world like she did. She should have went to a halfway house or something, you know, and slowly got treatment and slowly released back into the world. And it's wild. But that's all I got for today. I wanted to play all that with her dad and stuff, but we'll see what pops off tonight, because I'm sure there's going to be more. Every day there's something. It's like, oh my God, I can't keep up with this stuff. But y'all have a good one, and thank you all. And Nana's love, I hope you're good, and hugs to you, love, and hang in there. I know it's rough. And hugs and prayers. And I might go live later with some of the Trump stuff and all that. And y'all know I'm into my politics and out of all the true crime bullshit. I can't handle that stuff no more. I'll do my politics and Gypsy Rose. And but thank you all, and maybe see y'all later. Bye.
The world getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country, and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight. pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the surface.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lying not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting, and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.